Did you feed the dogs, by the way? Right. Thank you.
Andrew, is the matrix
Andrew, what happened in prison?
The case file is completely empty. Of course it's unjust. There's no justice in Romania, unfortunately.
Andrew Tate and his brother are behind bars, accused of human trafficking in Romania, and now they are threatening to sue their accusers. They also claim they have evidence that shows they're innocent of the charges. I'm Anjanette Levy, and welcome back to Sidebar here on Law and Crime. Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan are behind bars in Romania and have been for some time as authorities investigate these allegations of rape and human trafficking, which both brothers deny. Joining me to talk about these latest developments
Cheetah.
is Stefan Loredan. He is an attorney in Romania. Stefan, welcome back to Sidebar. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. Always a pleasure.
Your reaction, first and foremost, to the fact that the brothers
All right, we gotta speed that up a little bit.
have sent a letter to these accusers saying, we're going to sue you.
Well, I mean, I'm not surprised, right? Because if you were in his position, you would do everything possible, especially when you have this level of wealth, to get out as fast as possible, as soon as possible. In my opinion, those are nothing but intimidation tactics. Now, he has the right to sue those persons.
What?
if he
Why are
has a
they
legal
showing the
case
H3
behind it.
podcast?
But I
What
don't
the
think he will
fuck?
go forward with it. I just think
I
that he's
didn't
going
expect that to happen.
This isn't the first time that he has threatened to sue.
I'm watching a long crime thing about Andrew Tate threatens to sue accuser as alleged wiretap, and I was like just scrubbing, and I see the H3 podcast set.
Someone for defamation. He threatened to sue a podcaster a while.
Oh, because he's saying that he threatened to sue Andrew Tate threatened to sue Ethan. Weird choice. Man.
Back after this podcaster was talking about how he felt that he was a sex trafficker, or he had some information about that. Do you recall that?
Yeah, I think I remember
love
something.
that.
And again, it's just a tactic that he's been using. I totally understand it, and I'm not surprised about it. Again, I don't think he will push forward with this.
You don't. So you think it's just a threat to try to shut somebody up and that it's going nowhere.
Exactly, exactly, and that's mainly the reason. So if he's able to do this while he's behind bars, could you imagine the um, pressure that it could put on those allegedly victims or maybe the witnesses if he would be out? So that's why, in my opinion, the judge decided to keep them under arrest so far.
Could this be considered some form of witness intimidation in Romania?
Well, not
Good question.
not if he's pursuing the legal um, road, if you will, right? Because if he has a solid base for it and he's using his rights, then there's no problem with it. But it's also about we can discuss about nuances. For example, obviously he's using one of the biggest law firms in USA,
Fuck,
right?
I didn't change
A
the
very
number.
well-known attorney,
Now I
known
look like a liar.
for defending big clients, right?
Yeah,
Stars,
Garrigus and
right?
Garrigus. Tina
Day
Glanvian
24.
is his lawyer.
Exactly.
She represented Jussie Smollett and has represented other people as well.
She takes fat
Exactly. And
L's.
when you're using those types of people to send those notices of cease and desist, right? Then it could be very intimidating. While it's a legal action, so there's nothing wrong with it in terms of a legal aspect.
Let's talk now about the other piece of this, the fact that Andrew Tate's Twitter account has tweeted something about them having wiretaps that exonerate
And
them,
just
that
growl
prove
at
they are
Maki.
innocent of these charges. What do you make of that?
So I've seen this running around on Twitter. I saw two variants of it. The one variant is only a passage where obviously it's putting the Tate brothers in a good light, but I also seen the whole conversation, right, which is like more complex. And
Sure.
then you could see both sides of
She's just
the story.
standing.
I think that right now he has a propaganda machine, if you ask me personally, and he's using those type of
True.
people just to push out his narrative about him
True.
being, just innocent and not doing anything wrong. And I've noticed this even on Twitter, for example. If you say anything wrong about him, then you'll be attacked by a lot of accounts. Some of them are fake accounts, in my opinion.
Mhm.
So I think that's what's
Oh,
happening
yeah.
right now. Now, in terms of the documents itself, like the conversation itself, I would say that if they are proven to be genuine and they are accepted as a how do you say it, as an evidence in the case, then of course some of the charges could drop. Like for example, the human trafficking, the rape charges, right? Because there are some passages over there in the conversation where you can clearly see that the girl wasn't maybe forced to stay over there. She had the opportunity to run away. She was talking with her mother or things like that.
I think that's gonna look. like it could go both ways, as I said about that.
And
And
yeah,
of course, it
that's
can be
pretty much it.
used, but I don't know how
How
effective it would
wealthy
be.
is Andrew Tate? I mean, this can't come cheap. All of this, having
Why
somebody
would he
running fake
know?
accounts and running your Twitter account while you're behind bars. I mean, is he a really wealthy guy?
I think so. Yeah, I think he's wealthy. I don't know if he's as wealthy as he's claimed to be, but obviously
Oh,
you
I
can't
think
have
he's
like
lying too.
20 cars and properties all over the world and just live this lifestyle if you only with a couple of millions of dollars, right? Now, in terms of the propaganda machine that he's been building, I think it's very cheap because you can actually literally everybody can do it. You can just hire people from third world countries that are actively doing this for $2 per hour, $3 per hour, right? You can use bots, automated systems. Um, I have some knowledge in this sense, so I know how this works. So for him, just pushing out like $1,000, $2,000 per day for this specific matter, it's nothing, right? But it has such a huge effect because he's able to contour this narrative around him.
So he's got a bot farm, something like
Yeah,
that, helping him out.
100%.
They need to fix
100%.
her, her
Andrew Tate.
keying a little bit. Not that I should talk. Because my green screen is great.
Bot farm, or the Tate brothers bot farm. So Stefan, it sounds like your prediction is your assessment of the latest on Andrew Tate and his brother is the fact that the threat of the lawsuit is nothing more than an empty threat. It's not going anywhere. And
Yeah.
that as far as the wiretaps go, do you have any feeling on that? Is this him just a PR offensive? It sounds like you said you call it propaganda. Do you believe that evidence actually exists?
I mean, I can't say if it's real or not, right? We should act as he's innocent until he's proven guilty. And what I want to see this evidence being confirmed by the authorities. This is what I want to see. And if that's the case, then it means that he was wired, as people say, framed. Sorry, he was framed by those girls, and that's fine, right? This can happen, and I'm sorry for him. But at the same time, it might also be something that he's building just to put more and more pressure on the news media and on the judicial system in Romania, actually.
Interesting. And of course, innocent until proven guilty, as any other defendant
This
would
guy's
be.
a Tate
There's a
head, I
very
feel like.
high-powered law firm behind him now, Garrigus and Garrigus, Tina Glangian representing him. So we will cover this.
All right, I got some quick bits. We'll say, steal it from Emily D. Baker.
This couple won't get to go on a honeymoon, at least not now. That's because the groom, Vitaly Kroniuk, has to go back to the front lines of war in Ukraine, fighting the Russian invasion as it approaches its one-year anniversary. Vitaly is doing a lot of future planning, not only marrying his love Anna, but also freezing his sperm at a local bank just in case he...
Well, I assume that's fine to show? Okay.
doesn't make
I
it
don't
back.
know what I was
He told CBS
expecting.
News, you pray to survive, to leave something behind. He's not alone. The clinic helping him reports 100 soldiers have frozen their sperm. It's one way doctors say they can help their country. When the war is over, we will have a terrible demographic problem. Women like Anna pray for the safe return of their partners, trying not to think about a future where she will have to raise a child by herself. It would be heartbreaking to lose him, but I would
Wait,
still
what?
carry part of him with me. For Inside Edition Digital, I'm Mara.
Embattled CNN anchor Don Lemon absent for a third day on his morning show.
Don will be back with us tomorrow.
He's set to
Wait, this is
return
news to me?
tomorrow, but only
Wait, what happened? What happened to Don Lemon?
She says people, you know.
What? Oh, what?
Politicians or something. And
What's up, Ben? I think I've seen them before. Because you told me the story before, and I assume it's the same dog if it was... Oh, and thank you. I don't even, like, remember when that was. Oh, you mean the panel yesterday? Never mind. I assume. I'm not sure. Fuck, dude.
not in their prime. Nikki Haley is in
I'm so tired. I had to drive to work today. It took me like an hour and a half to get there. And like traffic, and I was just like having an anxiety attack like the whole day, and it was just, oh god, I fucking hate being in the office with people. And it's like, and I'm just getting like more mad and mad as the day goes by because I'm literally not doing anything that requires me to be there. It was just like so distracting to have other people around because I could tell some people were trying to talk to me, and I'm just like, no, just don't. It was like, how was your day been? And I was like, horrible. And then they get like awkward and walk away, which is fine, but gross. Liberal ideas? Hell yeah, freedom, brother. America, bitch! My contacts are like sweaty or something. They're like I'm getting blinded on this side. I might take them out a little bit. Not that you needed to know that, but on John's. But I mean, like, yeah, like I feel like everyone on their panel is like super right wing, or just like literally insane. On the Zerka guest. There's like I didn't notice when people were leaving, and then I was like, huh. At some point, there's different people here. But thank you all so much for the compliment. So let's see what Don Lemon did.
her prime. Sorry. When a woman is considered to be in her prime in her 20s and 30s.
Oh, wait, I think I did
maybe
see
40s.
this.
What are you talking? Wait.
That's not according to me.
Prime for what?
Good question.
That's the comment that got Don Lemon in deep water last week. He's having a rough go at things. I think it's pretty obvious if you watch even a little bit of programming that features him. Now, he won't be appearing on CNN today after he had already missed a day for a scheduled break. And CNN is saying,
more?
no, we're not firing him. He just needed a little more time off, you know? But he did apologize for the comment he made there. Just to give you some more context, they were talking about Nikki Haley.
She's not even that old.
He felt the need to opine on when women are in their prime to make a point about how Nikki Haley is too old to be considered in her prime.
Yeah.
Nikki Haley's issue is not her age. Nikki Haley's issue is that she sucks. Okay, that's her issue. But Nikki Haley did later weigh in on Don Lemon. But first, let's hear the rest of what he had to say, and then we'll go to her statement and hear from you too, Jake.
It's just like prime. If you look it up, it'll say, if you Google when is a woman in her prime, it'll say 20s, 30s, and 40s. I don't necessarily.
40s. Oh, I got another.
I'm not saying
decade.
I agree with that. So I think she has to be careful about saying that politicians aren't in their prime.
You need to qualify. Are you talking about prime?
Okay, I thought he was. I thought that was it. Like, okay, just keep digging that hole, dude.
For like childbearing, or are you talking about prime for being president?
What the facts are.
Wait, what did he say to Google? As far as having wisdom and nerve, most women are in their nerve and verve, and the experience to use both wisely. Most women in their prime after age 50, but I think this might be in direct response to that, to what he was saying. Between 26 to 37 years old. Men are strongest between 27 and 35 years old, so technically last longer, dude. I don't know what this means. I think this means literal strength, considering it's a healthy journey. Jesus Christ, journal. No long day, okay? I have a half day tomorrow, so hopefully tomorrow I'll be a little bit more awake. It's like really stressful to like. I feel like I took a flight. Like that type of anxiety that you just like kind of have like over the course of like your entire day. Or traveling, I guess you would say. Anyways.
Google it, everybody at home. When is a woman in her prime? It says 20s, 30s, and 40s. And I'm just saying Nikki Haley should be careful about saying that politicians are not in their prime and they need to be in their prime when they serve, because she wouldn't be in her prime, according to...
Yeah, she's probably too young, according to that other one.
Google?
5
Google
foot,
or whatever
bitch.
Just
Please stop.
stop talking. 100%.
Thanks, Tro 30.
Look, I
don't quite have the same energy
personally
today, but
was not offended by it. Like, I don't really care, right? Like, Don Lemon's opinion on when women are in their prime doesn't. I'm not delicate about it. Let's just say that. But
First of all, it's hilarious because it reminds me of turn down for what, right? And I thought that people are gonna fall out of the ceiling and start dancing. Okay, but it's the best question. Don, what are you talking like crazy?
Okay, so apparently he this
After
is
undergoing sensitivity training today, a memo was sent out at
that's some lip shit.
10:34 last night telling staffers that Lemon has agreed to participate in formal training. The company has a number of resources, and Dawn is committed to our recommendation. Lemon caused a firestorm when he took on...
This is such an HR thing. It's like, oh, you gotta do sensitivity training. It's like, it's just kind of like it's like when you get like a speeding ticket and they make you, not that I've had to go to anything like that, but we get a speeding ticket and you just have to take a bunch of like remedial like coursework like for a few hours. Just like ugh.
On presidential hopeful Nikki Haley because she questioned whether Joe Biden is too old to be president.
This whole talk about age
He's
makes
an
me
old
uncomfortable. I think it's the wrong road to go down. She says people, politicians or something are not in their prime. Nikki Haley isn't in her prime.
He apologized, but the damage was done.
Well, and as Don Lemon told us on CNN, women actually can't run for president because he said we're past our prime once we get to our 40s. But since you have to be 35 to run, it's like this really tight window between 35 and 40.
There was speculation that Don might not return. My
Was that
understanding
an
is that
SNL? Wait, was that an SNL skit? That was confusing.
Told us on CNN, women actually can't run for
Oh, real time with. Okay, that's why it was confusing.
president because he said we're past our
Bill
prime
Maher.
once we get to our 40s. But since you have to be 35 to run, it's like
Speaking
this
of
really
past
tight
your
window
prime,
between
Bill Maher.
35 and 40.
there was speculation that Don might not return. My understanding, this is taken very seriously by CNN.
All right, that was a little. That's a little much. I mean, it was like really bad comment, but like, and he kind of doubled down on it, which makes it look worse. But I don't think it's that bad. Like, it's like okay.
A lot of staffers were not happy about this. Women who work for CNN felt that the remarks were just off kilter, out of line.
Get the full legs going. Right. Oh, what? What happened to my autoplay? My playlist. Oh, that's up here. I don't think I'm actually gonna watch this Last Week Tonight. I can't watch Last Week Tonight anymore because it's just like, ugh. It's just like the same thing over and over again.
Visitors no longer need a boat to get to this island in Italy, as nature has created a
I mean, he
footpath
deserves
for
his-
them.
But
But that's not really a good thing. I've lived here for 18 years and I've never seen the lake so dry. I used to come here by boat, but this time I can
Oh,
walk.
I was like, why does
It's
that
pretty
sound
bad.
weird?
Let's hope for some rain. Lake Garda in the country's north is at record low levels because of a drought. Scientists say
Why is there a building here?
the Alps got less than half the usual snowfall, which means all that water didn't trickle downstream to local water sources. The situation has made San Biagio
Interesting
Island
music.
accessible by foot. It's a narrow path, but it has big implications that have local residents concerned.
Yeah, that happened in Austin this year. Like there was like such a low water line. We went like boating, and it was like so depressing. Really? Even after all that rain? That's surprising.
It is a dramatic situation for the lake, for the flora and fauna, and for the environment.
Yeah, it looks
but
like
we come here
shit.
anyway because for us, it's our lake. Over the summer, Italy declared a state of emergency because the country's longest river, the Po, was also suffering a drought and hurting rice farms and other agriculture dependent on its water. Yet another sign that climate change is not just a future problem, as it's happening right now. For Inside Edition Digital.
No, it doesn't exist, guys. We're in a flat... It's the water that fell off the side of the flat earth.
You're walking around downtown among the beautiful historic buildings. Each of them is unique, with different colors and ornaments. You then turn a corner and... oh, it's one of those newly...
Oh, God. That's so relatable. Thank you. I'm glad you like the new icon. It's my Twitter icon. It's one of those AI-generated ones when everyone was doing that. And I thought that one looked cool. Bright color. And I don't know if you can tell, but it actually has both of my eyes different colors, which would make sense because my eyes are both... I mean, my eyes are brown, but my eyes are... I wear blue contacts, so it's kind of like a combination of both of them. Still in my sweatshirt? It refuses to not have the AC on. The only thing that's nice about the office... I mean, the office itself is a nice building, but it's like... It's really... It's like it's nice and warm in there.
built areas, full of sterile,
the office manager's
nondescript
a
boxes.
woman,
Gone
probably.
is the charm, the atmosphere, and the character of the lively, historic downtown. It's all a sterilized, cultural dead zone. You press on and eventually reach the office area, which is even worse. Even the meager...
I'm Native American. I'm against illegal immigrants. That's why I love Trump. Okay. I appreciate you voicing your opinion. I don't think Trump gives two shits about anything that would help Native Americans, so...
individual characteristics of those new residential blocks are gone. It's all just a bunch of glass cubes. How depressing. That's it. I can't take this anymore. I need to go to the store to get myself a... Oh god, wait a sec. You know those old, beautiful market halls people used to shop in? Well, now it's...
No. I'm American, bitch! I don't know what this means! What is this? The title of this video is called Why We Don't Build Beautiful Buildings Anymore, by the way.
It's all big metal boxes. What is going on here? Why do all new buildings...
I know, this makes me so sad. This is why I want public transportation and better building. Capitalism sucks.
Things look so bland and depressing compared to the old ones. How come we don't build quote-unquote beautiful buildings anymore? Let's find out.
Yeah?
The story begins in
Yeah,
the late
Smokey?
19th, early 20th century. Architectural styles like neoclassical were still widespread in the developed world.
Come back with a better install. That's just lazy. That's what the problem is there. How did Trump help your people?
But a new movement was emerging. Modernism hit the architectural
Biden just wants them to keep playing the victim. What? Based off of what?
scene. Its main tenets are minimalism, the rejection of ornament, and the idea that form should follow function. Ah, so that's why we don't build nice buildings anymore. Those stupid, talentless progressives back then came up with their stupid, soulless architectural style and forced it upon the world, so now all new buildings are ugly. Right? No, it's a decent plot for a Disney movie, but reality is a bit more complex, I'm afraid. See, modernism came about in an era of technological revolution. New and innovative building materials like glass and steel and reinforced concrete enabled buildings never before seen or even thought
Is this still sped up? Oh, he just talks so fast.
possible. Examples of modernist architecture include the Sydney Opera House, the Empire State Building, and this little-known landmark called the Eiffel Tower. A big part of the reason why modernism got so popular is that after so many years of dominance by the old, people were simply ready for something new. Instead of stuffy, stuck-up, over-decorated buildings, we had Falling Water, Villa Tugendhat, Palais de Chaillot, the Rockefeller Center, and a whole lot more.
Oh, I think this is like a dam, but this has been used in a bunch of movies. I don't know if this is the right thing. No, I'm thinking of the one that's in Canada. Never mind. This is probably like in France somewhere. It's something like it said Palais, which I think is palace. I do absolutely hate like I guess we could think of like the Tim Burton Bat movies, the style of buildings. That's like a postmodern or whatever.
fresh and modern buildings. You
Was it
wouldn't
retro?
unironically put on this 17th century outfit for your job interview, would you now?
Obviously, yeah.
You will go for a relatively minimalistic yet elegant suit or a dress because, well,
Art
because
Deco,
17th
yes, Art Deco.
century garbs just aren't the thing nowadays. The idea is the same with building ornamentation, changing tastes throughout the times. However, there are some additional, far more interesting reasons. And before we get into those, I'd like to thank Athletic Greens for spot.
I was gonna skip it.
I'd like to thank it.
Alright, now I'm skipping it. That actually looks good. Oh, cat.
I no longer need coffee to start my day, and I feel generally more alert and clearer in the head. All in all, I'm satisfied with AG1 and can genuinely recommend it to my viewers. Get yourself a pack of AG1 using the link in the description and enjoy
It comes with a picture of her boobs.
its benefits to your mind and body now. Thank you for checking out AG1 by Athletic Greens. Ads like this support me in creating.
What is this? I swear to God, if this is some bullshit, I'm gonna be really mad. Oh my God, why is that so quiet? Runs on. It's 10 minutes? Jesus. Hold on, I'll look at it later. Remarks. White House Archive only has 71. Is this like an official channel? On the Native Americans' remains and artifacts from Finland? Wait, so he didn't actually do anything. He just wants to remark about the Finland should give it back? Alright, never mind. We'll watch it now. We're gonna speed it up though.
Being here as we commemorate the return of historic Native American artifacts and sacred remains to American soil.
Okay.
They've been working on this for a long time. Long time. Many
Okay, so they've been working on it for a long time, so he didn't really do it.
years. With us today is our Finnish ambassador, who we just had the privilege of meeting. The Finnish ambassador has been a friend of
Who's that guy?
this country, and now he's officially a friend. So congratulations.
Watch out, Mr. President!
As well as U.S. Ambassador to Finland, Bob Pence. Thank you very much.
No, thank you for stopping by, Uni.
Appreciate it. We're also joined by Department of Interior Secretary David Bernhardt, Assistant Secretary of Indian Affairs Tara Sweeney, and officials of Finland's National Museum. And
Yeah, I think I've watched this before. It's kind of like a nothing burger of, it's just like they were supposed to, like they were already planning because they're working with activist groups, I believe, to return them.
Creating more content for you. And now, back to the video. So as we discussed, a reason why buildings nowadays have less ornaments is changing tastes throughout the times. Now this is all well and good, but it doesn't.
Just no one else has, yeah, of course he's done stuff. I just don't think he's really an advocate for any particular group as an individual. Like, just because the administration got shut down, I don't think that Trump is like, and I don't think it's anywhere near like when people usually, oh, what did I just do? When people usually refer to like Trump doing something, it's always in contrast to like Biden not doing enough. And granted, that goes for both ways, but like most of the time, it's just like Trump did something that's not terrible. Their bar is so low for him. And then Biden does something like kind of mid. And then they're like, oh, it's not enough. You know? No, I know you didn't, but the person who I posted that link, Cheez-It Sarah did. Yeah, shitty people can do good, fine, but like he literally says in like the works for years. I don't really think he did that much. I mean, like he does a lot of really, really, really bad things. That's pretty good. Oh, shut the fuck up. He did not get it banned because it's not banned. It's the states decide. And mentally too old to even be a Walmart. His speech in Ukraine was pretty decent. Yeah, I mean, the Supreme Court, that's a little bit of Obama too, on him. Because he wanted to be, I don't really know what their reasoning was for this, but they also elected, or not elected, what do you call it when you have somebody to go to the Supreme Court? Not endorsed. Appointed? I can't pause it. Alright. Yeah, okay. He appointed a right, like a kind of a right-leaning justice. I don't remember which. I think he did 2. And then obviously Trump got Brett Kavanaugh and what's her name? Amy Coney Barrett, I think. Is that the right person? Nominated. Yeah, nominated. That was the word I was looking for. Thank you. Medical procedure state elected has caused... Yes, absolutely. States are notorious... Like, oh, God. Yeah, to deal with shitty California laws. Well, I feel like that should be a human right to have, like, medical freedom, and it's not a right if it's not for everybody in the country, so... It's bad. Anyways, let's see.
Doesn't explain, say, Soviet apartment blocks or similar large-scale public housing. Virtually nobody finds these buildings good-looking or interesting, so there must be something else in the background other than changing tastes. There is an idea in far-right conspiracy circles.
Oh my god. Yeah, because you just hate women, I get it.
That actually modern architecture is a plot by the shadowy...
I'm telling you, if it was you, you wouldn't think the same way.
Elites to crush the spirit of white civilization so they can import non-whites into developed countries to dilute the culture and the white gene pool because of reasons. And this might be an
I don't care.
Interesting plot for a South Park episode, but as usual, reality is a bit more complicated. Do commie blocks and similar large-scale public housing projects...
I think the commie blocks look like shit. But I feel like it's just they don't paint them.
Look sometimes bland or uninspiring. Sure, but they weren't built as a form of architectural expression. They were simply not made to look beautiful. In Europe, following World War II, there was a massive housing crisis.
I would say that. I'm saying it right now. At one point, I was an unborn baby. So yes, I'm saying it right now.
Everywhere, so states set up massive public housing programs. In the Soviet sphere of influence, this was done via so-called house factories, where they mass-produced standardized elements that workers could put together on site, thus massive amounts of housing could be built at a low cost relatively quickly. And it worked. Commie blocks essentially solved the housing crisis, for a time anyway. They also represented a civilizational shift for their new inhabitants, who often moved in from buildings without electricity or indoor plumbing. If you want to know more about commie blocks, I have a whole video about them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like I've seen this video before, but never mind.
Feel free to check it out. So next time you hear someone say that public housing apartment blocks are a communist plot to crush the human spirit or something, well, being homeless or not having...
They say, hey, women, it's unfair and rude. I have to be nice to you. Why, did I promise you that? You're not nice to me. I used to do Art Deco in the 20s architecture, yeah. Never reborn, then have women's rights taken away. I feel that, Cheetah.
Having access to running water are perhaps bigger threats to the human spirit, who knows. Also, imagine if some local government spent its public housing money on ornamentation instead of building...
I have nothing against them consensually reproducing. I don't understand what you mean. I will say, like, I love architecture, like, historical architecture, like, because I feel like it says a lot about the time, because, like, depending on how opulent the buildings are, it can be a very, it can be a marker for the history of the building itself, where it obviously was built in a very wealthy time. But also pausing.
As many units as possible. Hello citizens, we only built 7 blocks out of 10 due to higher ornament costs, so hundreds of you will not have a roof over your heads. But hey, look how beautiful these 7 blocks are. Now you'll have something nice to look at from under the bridge. So there's our second reason why we don't always build nice buildings. Housing shortages. But this still doesn't explain this latest onslaught of same-looking buildings in the US and Europe. Such buildings are absolutely...
Ugh, disgusting.
Everywhere and spreading. They're bland and boring, uninspired, depressing, and so on. Though to be fair, the US is more affected by this than Europe. So why do developers keep spending...
How children have happy lives? Well, in the United States, parents are statistically less happy than unchild bearing. Wait, why did I say it that way? Then people who don't have kids.
Spamming these buildings. It's not like they're part of a massive, standardized public housing project. We're living under neoliberal capitalism, which happens to be the reason why those buildings look the way they look. You see, from the late 20th century onward, housing was increasingly looked at not as spaces to live, but as commodities to be bought and sold. This culminated in the 2000s housing bubble and the consequent 2008 economic crisis. People simply stopped planning for durability, quality, and proper aesthetics. Just get the cheapest materials you can, put up a building that looks reasonably nice, and sell it at inflated prices.
This is actually a huge reason why new construction, even now, like, is most of it's actually worse. Like, if we're talking about like house quality, like cutting corners is obviously way more common. Like, it depends on obviously the age of the house, but like the modern buildings that are being built today are like such shit comparatively to houses that were even built like in like the 80s and stuff. It's especially like old houses. I mean, those, it depends like what we're talking about, but like building materials too are just like, oh, just as cheap as we can get. That's what the problem with late stage capitalism is. It gets really profit only, no care about human money, do a cheap thing to look goodest. There's lies, damn lies, and statistics. Alright. Just live your life without believing anything. Did my camera just move, or am I just looking at it?
Due to their low-quality construction, the buildings would start falling apart in a few years, but it doesn't matter, since by then you will have already made your money, and the building would—
Ooh, good point, Gary! What was the chance that Twain was lying? I was listening to a debate while driving to work today. Oh god, it was... I mean, luckily it was a long debate, so it lasted the whole time. But it was somebody basically saying that they would lie for, like, to win or whatever. And then, like, never admit that in a debate, especially because then it's like, now he just is able to say, like, oh, well, you just said that you're just gonna lie. So why do I believe anything that you say in this debate? I lie to win. Oh no.
Be on its 7th owner, who is looking to sell it at an even higher price. Housing went from places to live to a speculation scheme, a hot potato match among investors, but when the music stopped, everyone went bankrupt. Aside from outright—
I'm playing Civ? What is his monitor? Oh, it just looks like a map.
Match among investors, but when the music stopped, everyone went bankrupt. Aside from outright speculation, there is also the good old-fashioned profit motive. Let's take a developer who wants to put up a new building to rent or sell the units. Suppose we present them with architectural templates: neoclassical, art deco, baroque revival, and the average 5/1.
Circus in another debate right now versus Pixie? I don't know who Pixie is. Don't look at the fact that I got Hassan on there. Liar! I got debated. What the fuck?
10 times out of 10, they'll pick the 5/1 and ignore the rest. Why? Because it's the cheapest, ergo they'll make the most money with it. Turns out 5/1s are built using standardized materials that can be mass-produced, keeping costs down. Even if the quality is questionable, well, it only needs to hold together till the end of the warranty period, then it's the new owner's problem. Or in case of renting, developers can just keep blaming the tenants for defects and deduct repairs from—
This is how you get fucked every fucking year and your rent goes up for no reason.
Their deposits. A developer could spend a boatload of money on a durable, brick neoclassical apartment building with tons of ornamentation, but that won't affect the rent or unit price all that much, since the 3 most important aspects of real estate are location.
Over her channel. Can you link it? I don't think I'm gonna watch it, but I want to take a look.
Location, and
like
location.
Watch all of it.
If you are a developer building units in a desirable location, as long as the units are mostly habitable, that's all you need really. You'll have made your money. The story is the same with office buildings and large shopping centers. As we do not mass-produce classical ornaments, they would need to be custom-made for each building at prohibitive costs. But how come companies don't want to build something representative still? Why aren't, say, Walmarts built nice, like those old market halls? With that, we arrive at the—
Can you imagine having, like, nice things
fourth factor. And what would that be? Recently, the beautiful Art Nouveau facade of Prague main station was renovated. The station regained its former splendor.
Yeah, it's fucking bullshit. Like, it kind of just... It doesn't seem like it makes sense even from a capitalist perspective that much. I mean, it's like, it just, the only way it makes sense is it's because it knows that, like, poor people, like, moving is expensive. So, they're just taking advantage of the fact that it's, like, can be cheaper to just stay there, and then, like, that's how they're making more money. But, like, you would think that you would want a tenant that's gonna... That piece of dog hair is, like, itching my nose. Would want a tenant, you know, to stay there longer, but, you know, of course. Fucking hate capitalism.
Right? She really loves these delectable squeeze-up treats. What? Delectables. The lickable treat.
That cat looks like CGI'd in.
Delectables. Delickable delectables. Funny. No, just delectables. Deliciously delectable delectables.
This...
You're hilarious.
Why can I pause the commercial?
You see what I did there? Wow, she's going to town on this.
Delectables, squeeze up. Deliciously delectable delectables.
What? Oh my god, I've had to watch another ad. You motherfucker!
Not again. Just calm down. Everything's cozy in Cozy Town.
Anxiety from nicotine cravings can keep you up. For quitting
That's not where I thought that was going. I thought that was gonna be like a Animal Crossing thing.
That wasn't?
Yes, there's
Again,
never
this is what
been
I
a
mean, is that,
murderer.
like, you simultaneously want to ascribe all of this agency to men, but when they actually do anything negative or perpetuate harm in this world, suddenly we back it up and say, oh, it's actually women's fault, even though you're saying the natural role
No.
of women is to be submissive.
No, because that guy.
I like
And that we're
these
all, like,
tags.
scheming? Like, I don't fucking get it.
No, I don't think you're scheming. If you guys were scheming, you
No
would be hot
wonder!
girls at 25 holding your virginity and then fucking marrying some prince. But you guys don't scheme. You guys just fuck up and waste your lives.
Circa,
I wish
I have a
you guys-
question.
Okay.
Saying that literally trying
Okay, so Zerka's been gone in my friend's car, or our roommate's car, for like 4 hours. And he was supposed to just be going to the grocery store, and I'm assuming this is why he has not returned. Reezer! Reezer! I don't know where he went. Instinct banned me, that doesn't surprise me.
Just listen to them and let them fuck me.
Yes.
Because I'm
Yes,
supposed to be
because
submissive. But you're saying if
No,
I'm
but-
submissive in this way, then I'm, you know, ruining society, even though you want me to be submissive. So I'm just
Kinda
really
got him on that
confused.
point.
No, you're not ruining society because the confidence you still in that partner.
You can literally like
he's
hear him
gonna
in
go on
the
to do
car.
Great things. He's not going to be a creep, is he?
But you're saying that like that women are like ruining society because they're just like letting men sleep with them. I'm confused.
Whoa, 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 whoa. I assume those are shorts, but it kind of looks like those are panties showing. I'm going to go ahead and click off of that.
But almost nobody noticed, because no one is there to see it, because there's an urban freeway and an elevated parking lot right in front of it. If you want to experience the facade's architectural beauty, you have to crawl through dark, piss-smelling underpasses and grimy, rusted spiral stairs and stand in the middle of a concrete parking lot next to an urban freeway. Hardly a conducive environment for savoring the arts. Car-centered areas actively sabotage architectural beauty.
True.
Why would anyone bother building something good-looking or waste money on ornamentation when no one will be around to appreciate it? Even if you build a good-looking Walmart that isn't just a big metal box, who cares? People will just park their cars, scurry inside, do their shopping, and then drive away. Nobody stays around to stroll, to talk, to hang out, to take in the beauty around.
Exactly, this is what I'm talking about. About the architecture thing on the Wick panel. I get better at, like... I guess for, like, writing essays.
What good is a beautiful building?
Our neighbor's dog is barking.
Building when your city is built for cars. Cars
I don't know what
appreciate
that was,
architectural
but
beauty,
it was getting a little
people do.
sussy.
But for that, they have to be around. And
Yeah, the neighbor's dog's barking, so that they then one of them starts barking, and then the other one starts barking, and then it's just Oh, sir. Eating somebody.
Car?
In the car. On his. What's the name again? Pixie? I closed it. Fuck. Plick. Oh. Just driving around, like, debating people. It's so funny. Hell.
And if roads in your city look like this, and sound like this, nobody will stick around. In which case, why even bother building anything nice? Aside from urban motor traffic, parking minimums are also to blame.
Don't show me that! I hate America! Disgusting.
Here. Those old, atmospheric, human-centric, beautiful
Yeah,
areas
basically was
would be
arguing.
illegal to build today due to parking requirements. The current laws in much of the world actually prescribe car-infested cities and force developers to build a ton of parking for new buildings, which then induces even more car traffic and drives up construction costs. Thus areas become congested, thus there will be less people hanging around, and
I think my problem was I was talking too much about what, like, my autistic love of trains instead of talking about my incredible hate of cars.
suddenly you don't need to build anything good-looking anymore. People will be looking at the road in front of them, not at the buildings. And even if a developer wanted to pay for ornamentation...
You know, Dubai has, like, a really big issue with that, where it's all just, like, one really, really long freeway. And if you miss, like, your exit, you're just fucked. Like, because it's, like, now you gotta, like, those, like, big stretches, and it's, like, they have these, like, big buildings that, you know, could look nice, but then, like, all you're doing is just driving straight. Drive-by debating.
Despite everything, well, unfortunately the underground garage they were forced to build due to parking minimums ate all their ornament money. But hey, at least Karen can comfortably park her Rezvani Vengeance SUV equipped with bulletproof...
Oh, did you see this? I don't know what, if this is real. What was the brand?
But hey, at least Karen can comfortably park her Rezvani Vengeance SUV...
Rezvan? Rezvan Vengeance. Whoa! Yeah, Dubai has the poop truck's probably the main one. Where's the one with the lady? This one.
Hey mamas, let's talk about the memorable
Okay, this makes me want to not ever have children. When people say, "Hey mamas!" It's like, no, shut the fuck up.
features on the Rezvani Vengeance. I'm body armored, and so is this vehicle. For even more protection, you have explosive underbody shielding, bulletproof glass,
But is it really?
electrified door handles, military...
Is that for real? Oh, this is the 500,000 one. What is the point of this? I feel like this is like a terrible car, because these tires don't seem...
Hey mamas,
Wait, what? It just ended there? Where's the longer one? Actually bulletproof.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you are having an awesome day today.
I really
It's about
appreciate
to
them
get
speeding this up.
absolutely ridiculous.
Oh,
About a year
I
ago,
did
I
that.
was handed the keys to a vehicle known as the Rezvani tank, the most apocalyptic-looking SUV I have ever seen in my entire life. I only had a short period of time with it, so I thought it'd be awesome to take it to road. Well, guys, here it is.
Oh my god, why did that get so loud? I mean, did you ever consider, like, the whole, if you're driving something like this, you're gonna kill somebody else with it. Like, they're gonna die. like, you are a danger to everyone around you.
The Rezvani tank. It comes...
That's such a fucking, I'm the only important one, but I'm saying that my kids are also the only important. It's like, okay, other people matter, dude.
in 3 different trim levels. The base model tank that I drove in Beverly Hills.
Tear up
Then
the
there's
asset. That's true. That's a good point, Timber. Yeah, you're fucking up the entire fucking infrastructure of driving, which I would support if it was just to not use them, but now we're just gonna spend more money on maintaining roads.
And the ultimate, most badass vehicle you
You're
can get
telling me.
from Rezvani, the Tank Military Edition, which we have today. The features on this thing are
I've never even heard of the brand Rezvani.
insane, and I can't wait to share them with you guys. Just look at this vehicle, guys. While it started life as a Jeep Wrangler,
I feel like this is what the okay. My hot take is I feel like this was what like Elon Musk like knew about this or was gonna buy this, but probably was like incompetent or whatever, and that's what the Cybertruck was kind of supposed to be, and then he just like stole a model. Like they had like a mock-up for it, and then they went to Jeep instead, and then was like, "Yo, you wanna buy this?"
Futuristic yet military-inspired design looks like nothing else on the road.
Kinda ugly.
Name another vehicle that looks more ready for the apocalypse.
I don't feel like the front has enough like of a grill. Like it needs to have like more of a battering ram, like you see on police cars that have like the things. It's like the Batmobile a little bit.
Than the Rezvani tank.
You think Elon is stupid and incompetent? Yes.
The tank starts at $165,000 and climbs from there depending
Broke,
on
bitch.
spec and options. The tank I drove in Beverly Hills had a cute little V6 motor. The Tank Military, however, comes standard with a 6.4-liter V8 that makes 5.
That kind of doesn't seem like enough for how heavy this car must be. I don't really know enough about cars, I guess, to say like what if horsepower is the best way to go with like weight towing, or if you like there's more important like suspension requirements or something. Halo War. Oh my god, yes!
100 horsepower, but it doesn't stop there. For people who are power crazy, for 29.
Wait, that does look exactly like the Warthog. Why did I just look up Warthog? It didn't specify. You mean a Puma? Literally like the same car. No winch though. And obviously open doors. I mean, pretty fucking similar. Good observation.
$1,000, you can upgrade to a Hellcat motor. That's
Really
right,
good V8, well,
6.2
some kind of
liter
cheesy V12.
supercharged V8, making 707 horsepower. Something that looks like this. Well, the base model has a range of options.
Oh, thank God. Thank God we put the America sticker on it.
Add on, the Military Edition comes with a bunch of standard features that will absolutely blow your mind. For one, the glass as well as the body of the tank are bulletproof, which we are going to be testing out later on. Check this out. The door itself weighs about 400 pounds. When you open this thing up, it is extremely heavy.
That seems really dangerous. Like, you would want your kids to be in the door that's 400 pounds, like, getting them in, like, a... Assuming that they're, like, really young and, like, in a baby seat or something. Like, if the door accidentally, like, gets knocked over, or you're on, like, a hill, and it, like... I feel like that shit could literally crush you if you're, like, parked on a hill. Like an incline.
Heavy, but the most impressive part is how thick this glass is. It's legitimately over 1.5 inches thick, and when you knock on it, it doesn't feel like your typical glass. It almost feels like you're banging on steel. When this thing closes,
I bang on steel all the time. That noise. You hear that?
Steel. When this thing closes,
there's a Simpsons episode where they get like, they think it's like a really manly vehicle, but it's like meant for moms, and it's like a joke, and it like, I feel like this is the exact same thing. Canyonero. I think it's Canyonero, which is playing it. Hold on. Yeah, Simpsons.
Give me a ride home.
Wow, this is roomy.
No DMCA.
Can you name
the truck with four-wheel drive. Smells like a steak and seats 35. Canyonero.
Oh, it's gonna be the song. I want the one where they finds out that it's like for women or something. Okay, whatever. It's fine. We get the point.
I also absolutely love the design.
Fixed her dress. I was getting a little worried there. I mean, I don't really know if I want to go back and watch it, but I'll leave the link up. You're right. I think it's just gonna be like arguing. I mean, she had. Oh, god damn it! I don't want to watch these fucking cat videos again.
Of the door handles, and inside here
I only have one cat. It's not technically mine.
Any other vehicle. This is a safety protection vehicle.
Well, the other one had a different door handle
That you can drive on the road, and it has electrified door handles. What does that mean? Well, there's a button on the
Why? Why would you ever need that? Like, are you worried about somebody stealing your car? Do you really think that the electrified door handle is what's gonna stop them? Like, I feel like this car should be unstealable outside of the electrified door handle. Like, what are they gonna do? Break the glass? Like, how are they gonna get into your car? Is there just no locking system? What if there's no locking system because, like, it's too heavy. The door frame, the doors themselves are probably too heavy to have like a very like robust locking system. Driving through protesters. Why wouldn't you just electrify the entire car at that point?
that when you click it, it primes the system, and if somebody who's unwanted comes up to open the door, it actually shocks their hand. Now, I've been told it's so painful, we're not going to be...
Oh, come on, you pussy. Are you serious? Alright, we have to look up a video of somebody getting shocked. Hopefully I won't get in trouble for that. What is this called again? The fucking Vengeance? Is that what it's called? Vengeance? It's like a... like thorn damage or whatever you call that. Shock handle.
Hey, Sean wants to know if he can a sunshade thing.
That's cool.
I've never seen one for the small one before.
It's actually nice. Like it.
You can't. This Tesla, we're gonna be doing a. Sean, we're doing a dash wrap on, you know, green, and that way.
Come on, get to the point here. Alright, it's taking too long. Oh, shit, why am I watching that other asshole's video? This one's more expensive. Oh my god, this car is gigantic. Looks like a fucking like elephant, dude.
Very special car, and with this incredible SUV, it will be very easy to survive in apocalypse. So get ready, guys. This review will be...
Okay, why would you think that... Wait, is this the same place that that other... It's literally the same location. Does this car just not even actually work? They just like let people film in it? This looks the same... It's the exact same place.
Very hot.
Looks like a... Oh, you know what it looks like? You know, like the newer version of... Not Tron. RoboCop. Like the RoboCop remake. That's what the car... Oh, I didn't put the cop in. I was like, why the fuck did Sonic come up? Literally, this car just looks like the RoboCop remake. So bad. All right.
This monster is based on Cadillac Escalade, which starts from...
Like literally, that's like the little beam. Oh wait, this is an Escalade, but the other one was a Jeep. Are they different? Alright, never mind. We'll finish watching this
doing a demonstration.
Then we'll watch the other one.
It's pretty cool. If you look closely in the door handle, you can actually see the electrical conductors where you'd get shocked. All you have to do is flip.
Really? You can get better labeling? What? What is this, like, literally, like, printed out labels?
Click this switch, and we're primed and ready to go. The underside of the Rezvani tank even has protection against explosives.
You know that suspension's going the second that they would drive over anything.
That's right, IEDs and pipe bombs, they can explode no problem underneath the Rezvani, and you'll be completely safe inside. It's like a cocoon of protection. This military tank has the extreme off-road package, which means a 6-inch lift.
What is it, like, is there a rubber ducky somewhere?
Military tank has the extreme off-road package, which means a 6-inch lift.
I'm assuming it's the branches, because he decided to film this directly off of a highway for some reason. You just wanted to come back in, what? Razor brushed Ben today, I guess, with my hairbrush for some reason, so now this is what my hairbrush looks like. We have multiple dog brushes.
37-inch tires, upgraded front and rear drive shafts and axles, and 2.5-inch Fox shocks.
Is it part of the music? I keep hearing it.
Not only can you survive the apocalypse, you can also go off-roading in this as well. Let's take a look at these wheels. Squatting down next to the tires, they're almost the size of me, and they're actually run flats. There's a rubber tube on the inside, so if these go...
I mean, my car has run flats. There's not like a hyper specific technology.
Completely flat, the tank can drive no problem at all. In fact, it doesn't need a tire at all. It can still drive forwards. Now, the wheels have been designed to protect all of the brake components, so you're safe no matter what.
I mean, I can literally see them. There's no way that would... If I can see them, there's no way these bitches are... I can see the tubes! You're not gonna survive a blast from under it? It's gonna shred your fucking braking fluid and shit. Like, there's no way this would actually work in practice.
Have been designed to protect all of the brake components, so you're safe no matter what. Let's hop in the tank, shall we? It's got automatic side steps to make it easier for you to climb into the tank.
Wait, did that just, like, roll out? What the fuck?
No matter what. Let's hop in the tank, shall we? It's got automatic side steps to make it easier for you to climb into the tank. Be careful, though. These...
I wonder if those don't stop. Like... You open the door and you're like leaning against the car where your shins are directly right there. I feel like that would literally break your legs. Like, I feel like there's no way there's a sensor for it.
These doors are ridiculously heavy, especially on this windy day. They could crush you. Hop on in. The interior of the tank is nicely appointed with leather. There are some cool convenience options as well.
Leather, the most tactical of material.
8.5-inch touchscreen with Apple CarPlay, so you can easily connect your phone and listen to music. There's also 2 different levels of speaker system upgrades, the highest of which comes with focal speakers and a JBL amplifier, so you know your music's going to be sounding good.
Pile of bodies of broken legs, definitely. And then you try and get up to, like, after it breaks your legs and you fall, it, like, you kind of like push it back and then you try and like reach up to like hold yourself up, but then you hit the door handle again, so it comes back and it like smacks you in the face.
Obviously, this being a tank, there are a range of controls that you would never see
it's not
in
a qualifier for a
vehicle.
tank.
Check out this
I think a qualifier to be a tank, you like have to have treads.
Panel up above the rear view mirror that gives you controls for electric shock.
I still can't believe how shitty this looks. Like, really? $300,000 and your dumbass is the best thing you have is like one of those printers you attach like to your phone and like I could make these.
Door handles. There is a magnetic deadbolt lock.
It's gotta not have
so that
windows.
If somebody shoots the lock in the normal part of the door, you are still secured. Then my favorite, the...
Dude, imagine like falling into the water in this car. You're just so fucked. Like if like you like drove into a river.
Smoke screen, which we'll demonstrate later. There's front lights and rear lights that absolutely blind any intruders coming from the front or the rear.
Absolutely blind.
so that if somebody
You didn't want to
shoots
shoot
the
it at
lock
night,
in the normal
huh?
part of the door, you are still secured. Then my favorite, the smoke screen, which we'll demonstrate later. There's front lights and rear lights that absolutely blind any intruders coming from the front or the rear, and strobe lights. Let's go ahead and fire her up.
Did he physically have to like put a key in? I mean, I guess that's more reliable, so more tactical.
That 6.4 liter V8 sounds so much better than the V6. Now, because this is bulletproof, it weighs 4,000 additional pounds over the standard tank. This thing comes in at 8,000 pounds. So it's
You're ruining our infrastructure. What's wrong with you?
Actually, 500 horsepower does pretty well. Let's go ahead.
I hope the reason it costs that much is because it's like a tax thing. Oh my god, it sounds like a car.
That is awesome. Surprisingly, for such a big vehicle, it's actually pretty easy to drive. The steering is nice and light. The visibility out the front
He's just
is
like
fantastic.
piling,
Same with
he's just piling through groups of like other cars on the road. Just like leaving a devastation in his wake. Yeah, no, this has to get like 5 gallons to the mile, dude. Like, definitely. There's no way. Like, 8 tons? Like, are you serious? I feel like braking must be like impossible. Like, you're just gonna like plow into the person in front of you if they stop hard. It's like a semi. How much does a semi weigh? I actually have no idea. Okay, never mind. It's not that close to a semi. It's like the cab part of a semi. Semi truck cab weight? Okay, never mind. It's not close. I don't have a really good sense of it.
The side windows. The rear visibility, however, is not the best.
Car
the
weights.
leather seats are incredibly comfortable, and we've got tons and tons
Why? Does it come with these?
of headroom. You do sit relatively close
You're
to
just-
your passenger, but you get this.
They're just not gonna explain it? Okay, so it's really, really small, basically. The hybrid, is it really? Did you say that? Real dick to own something. Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think most people who own supercars are also complete dicks. It's like, I think most people know, like, you just look like an asshole. 4 tons? No, it said this was like 8 tons. So nice out tonight. Like one of those warm like summer nights. It's like windy warm. What is your question? Who was Max for the supermarket?
This level of comfort and
True.
security, like
Is it? he should flip a bitch and just pile through all of these cows right here.
no other vehicle. It actually feels like you're inside of a bank vault. It is incredibly
Have you ever been in a Hummer? It's not a comfortable like experience.
isolated from the road. They did a fantastic job of not
Race abolition, I think we've given it enough time. It is kind of a depending on what your definition of race abolition is, but the way I perceive it is that we don't really use that as a qualifier the same way that we wouldn't use gender as a qualifier. I think that, like, considering as far as we go down, it would be more about your lineage, but it wouldn't be a definer at that point of anything really that meaningful besides your own family history. It would be kind of like the same thing as your last name in some ways. But race itself, you wouldn't be qualified as Caucasian or like black or Asian or whatever, because it would become completely useless when everyone's so mixed. Toyota Avalon. You could actually say that it would like eventually turn into like a colorblind thing, but like actually, like when we say colorblind now, it's usually like a dumbass term for people who just like don't want to acknowledge that like systemic racism exists. But if we get to a point where we're all so mixed that it's really, you know, not that useful like at all to even bring up race, then I think that you could use that and not be talking about just like issues like systemic racism, if that makes sense. I don't know how my headphones get so twisted. Getting great replacement because of the point which I think is dishonest. Well, I mean, you got to be really specific of the way that you're referring to it. Gender abolition is, again, not like a colorblind thing or like great replacement. I mean, like, the funny thing is there's like black national or black separatists who think that white supremacists are in favor of black people fucking white people because then they're gonna turn white. There's a really good debate about this that Shark did. It's actually how I found his channel. So I'm not gonna watch it today because I think we've watched it before. But I'll link it to you if you're interested. Black. What did he name it? I don't know. It'll probably come up. Is it black? Oh, here it is. Anti-blackness. This is the debate. If you're interested, it's a good watch. He made the other guy that he was talking to look very, very, you know, racist, basically. Have 200 years? Well, no, gender is not X and Y. It's socially, it's a social structure. Like, and even if you're talking about sex is not just X and Y. There's some people with XXY or XYY chromosomes. Like, there's intersex people, so it's not like it is a binary. It's a bimodal social construct. Thank you. Aki. No, that is actually kind of the same thing that we would talk about the use of like, race is a social construct. You have your lineage and you have his family history, but like if like the problem with the social construct and explaining that to people is that it doesn't square away with a lot of religious beliefs which deny evolution and you know, Darwin theory and stuff like that. So it's a more complicated concept, and like if you're just bringing it up amongst people who are like not understanding the idea that if any white person were to move to like a place that was like getting a lot of sun all the time, they would eventually just have like more melanin, like as like their generations would be passed down and et cetera. Like it's more an environmental factor which has to do with like evolution and like Darwinism and stuff like that. I'm still a tadpole. You and me both. About a female talking about her 2 vaginas. No, I don't have proof of what. Yes. I feel like I've heard of that, but I don't know if that is a real phenomena. I don't disbelieve that would be a possibility. Like, we've seen, like, sheep with, like, 2 heads, you know, or 2 assholes or whatever. What's up, Bit? When I say race is a social construct, they say that how do we identify in assist minorities? That is a fair conversation to have because it is, like, the colorblind argument is... Like, when we're talking about gender or like race abolition or how they're social constructs, this is something that I know Rez would disagree with me, but I don't think this is something that we're gonna at all be able to shift to in our lifetime at all. because it does have a lot of problematic values in some ways. Like gender abolition in some ways can be seen as like anti-trans or like not understanding like intersectionality or historical wrongs like like women's rights and stuff like that. So it's like really like down the line high philosophical conversation or sociological whichever one you want to go with. But I would think that it's not really a good way to talk to somebody who like, or to bring it up necessarily to people who don't know the concept itself, because I think you have to explain it like way in too many steps. Like, so for the average person that hasn't like looked into like theory, or theory, I guess that's what I meant to say instead of like a sociological concept or whatever. I think it's kind of, it can come off as being sexist or racist or the whole colorblind aspect. Oh, we're all the same. It's like, yeah, we are generally all the same. But I think that the conversation of our social structures, we still need to work within what we have right now. Like, that's why, like, I would prefer, I guess, to be non-binary or to be referred to as non-binary, but I understand that it's just, like, functionally easier to just, like, go by she, her. Maybe that's, like, me caving a little bit to social norms, but I just don't want to deal with it, to be honest. It's fine. It's not that big of a deal for me. I understand it is a big deal for other people, and I totally respect their wishes of wanting to be non-binary. But for me, it's just like, it's just something I just personally don't want to deal with. But utopian thinking, yes, exactly. Because it's theoretically unrealistic to self. Yeah, it's gonna take a long time to shift like the like, there's still people who think that black people aren't like people, you know, like, and it wasn't that long ago. Like, social change happens, like, we've historically seen it, like, over a long period of time, or that it takes a long period of time, and obviously we've observed it from a long period of time of, you know, history. But, like, women just got the fucking right to have a credit card in, like, the 60s, you know, we're not, like, there's people alive now that we're not allowed to have a credit card. So, like, having these shift to, like, gender abolition, for example, is not really a, a realistic idea. As quickly as people would, like, want it or would even, like, understand as, like, because it has to be, like, a movement with everybody. And I don't even mean directly, like, Americans. Although I think that is very powerful because we have a lot of, like, we've been doing a lot in America to progress, like, LGBT rights. And that did happen kind of quickly, to be honest, for social change, but it's still not like, oh, everybody wants gay people, because there's still legislation, and, like, that's kind of why I'm anti-religious, to be honest, because I feel like that is, like, what slows down actual social progress, because of the traditionalism of it. Well, I mean, I don't think, like, if it's somebody else's, respecting somebody else's pronoun, I'm just saying the rest of us don't want to deal with it either. Like, I don't know what you're meaning by that, but if you're talking about, like, having to respect other people's pronouns, I don't want to really have a conversation about neopronouns, because I do understand that could be, that's a little bit more of a complicated conversation. And I don't really have a good grasp on why neopronouns are important to people, so I don't really want to talk about them. I do personally think they're a little bit much, but I don't know why people feel so strongly about neopronouns. But I know people do, obviously. It's just not really the content that I feel like it's too granular from the content that I typically like to watch. I just want people to understand not seeing race doesn't mean I don't see... Right. Yeah, you're right. I understand where you're coming from, for sure. God took the leash off a wild animal. What? Hey! Moved to have a society full of men who think they are women for some reason. Well, it would be males who think they're women. So, I mean, there's plenty of when intersex people are born, sometimes they are actually, like, like they'll surgically like cut off one part or and then to be closer to whatever gender their parents want. And I also think that being circumcised is kind of fucked because there's not any medical benefit to it. Well, yeah, it's already up to the parents to decide when we talk about intersex people. That is generally the way that the doctor will say either one. It's like, okay, which one's closer? So we already are doing the form of what we're like afraid that like trans kids or like parents are doing if their kids is trans or some shit. Like we've already been doing this for a very long time to intersex people. You know, like 1/3 of 1% of the population is trans. Yeah, it's not a big number, and it's amazing to me that people are so invested in all of trans issues. Like I'm constantly talking about trans issues, and I am very supportive of trans rights and stuff like that. And it's just so annoying to me that I'm constantly having, or that people are constantly like people who hate trans people. Like, why are you constantly thinking about that? I mean, to be fair, I'm constantly thinking about conservatives because I fucking hate it. But it's just because like I feel like I have to because they're actively trying to hurt other human beings. Where I don't really feel like trans people are actively trying to hurt other human beings. I know what their logic is that like, oh, they're hurting the kids, I guess, but there's not any evidence to support that. So, as far as I'm concerned, I have plenty of evidence to support the idea that trans people, or not, that conservatives are actively hurting people. For example, their opinion on abortion. Again, the abortion argument I like to have is not on the philosophy behind it or when is a life, because again, that is a philosophical argument. We can have that conversation, but I don't feel like it's that productive generally. It kind of just turns into like a the funny thing is even in like a lot of biblical, like in the Bible, there's not anything that implies that it's like when you're conceived. And this definitely not in the Jewish Bible or the Torah. And also in the Muslim Bibles or not the Torah. What is it? The fucking Muslim, the Quran. That there's nothing there that it actually specifically says like, you know, it's fine, you know. Kids are not trans and not a thing. Just evil parents. So, I don't know why you would say kids are not trans. Wouldn't you just say nobody's trans then? And they're forcing pills down... What? I think hormone therapy is generally... What is it injections? I don't actually have any idea how you do hormone therapy. I know Joe Rogan does hormone replacement therapy. It's actually really common for men to take testosterone. Which I guess it would be a pill, right? It contains female hormones. Wait, what? Treat menopausal symptoms. Okay, yeah, so even like women are suggested to take like HRT. I think this is specifically talking about women for some reason. I don't know if I typed in something weird. Okay, so estrogen, which comes in a pill, skin patch. Okay, it would be a pill, skin patch, ring, gel, cream, or spray. So it can come in a lot of forms. Not that that was the main crux of what you were saying. Read. Oh, the Quran. Yes, I meant to say the Quran. They were, yeah. As far as I'm concerned, I think, in my honest opinion, I think everyone's on a really big spectrum of what they find attractive and or how they identify themselves based off of their own brain chemistry. And I think it's obviously on a spectrum of how it's not like you're just like only gay or only straight, but I feel like the best way to say it is that like we've been trying to groom people to be straight for millennia and that shit ain't working. So just let the kids be kids. Exactly. Let them be their kids if they want to wear dresses and want to be called a girl and be called a girl. Exactly. I agree with you. If they're like a guy or a male or female or don't want to do either, whatever they want, I don't care. Let them explore their identity.
Not being able to hear any real road noise, but at the same time you do get to hear.
That's not a good thing about not being able to hear road noise. It seems like kind of dangerous.
That incredible V8 soundtrack. There's also a PA system so you can communicate.
The stimulation of the prostate feels good even if the male is straight. Well, yeah, that's just kind of like a part of like your biology, I guess you would say. I don't know if the prostate shrinks. I know there's a lower chance of prostate cancer, I think, if you're like a trans woman. Or I'm even getting it mixed up that you might have a higher chance of prostate cancer if you're... Okay, well now I gotta look it up. Trans women, higher rates of prostate... I probably shouldn't have said higher. Yes, trans women and non-binary people assigned male at birth can get prostate cancer there. Okay, well... In trans woman, but... Oh, there's a but. Literally, because it's prostate cancer and it's in your butt. Have a prostate, cis men, trans women, women who identify female. What? That's not what trans women are. Women who identify as female? Who fucking wrote this shit? What? I mean, it seemed like generally pretty open-minded here, but like prostate. Increases size with age, increasing in size is less than... Yes, okay, so... You have a lower chance of your prostate fucking you up if you're on estrogen. If you're a trans woman. We love that for them. All of our trans queens. Far from SJWs or libs or even political. Oh, that's awesome. I mean, yeah, it's like very... I don't think it's... I think you have to be really, really... Like, most of what conservatives are pissed off about trans and gay people is, like, the disgust response. And it's like, okay, it's not that big of a deal. Like, people will be doing things that they do, you know? Take away their phones. Oh, gosh. Not the phone argument again. Just to change them into different sex, that's crazy. Well, that's not... It would be hormone blockers, so it wouldn't be, Just, wait, are you being... I don't know if you're being ironic. Just think of giving kids pills to change them. We give pills to kids all the time so they don't, like, die. Like, what do you mean? Like, we give, like, kids medication that makes their hair fall out and their eyebrows fall out. Like, you know, like chemo. You know? Like, kids aren't just like a fucking NPC, dude. Calling it cis is just another label? Okay, so what's calling somebody a black man or a white man? Like, what do you mean? Yeah, it's a identifying it's a qualifying or it's an way to describe their identity. They hate you because that's how they survive, through hate and labels. Yeah, we definitely are the one that they're being very hurtful.
With people on the outside without having to open the doors, you can actually
How many trans kids do you think would fit in this car?
Listen to what people are saying as well. So they've made 5 Rezvani tanks so far. 2 of their customers you guys may know. Chris Brown, who has a very unique taste.
Oh, he's gonna fucking hit women with it.
in vehicles. And then we've got Exhibit from Pimp My Ride. He has one of these as well. And the rest of the vehicles are scattered in Colorado, Texas, even...
What the fuck did you say? Labels help? Like if I say, hand me that... Oh, whatchamacallit? Oh, never mind. I like read that as like witchcraft or something. I don't know why.
Africa. I can't believe this, guys. This is one of the craziest things.
It's so quiet! It's so quiet!
We are headed
I can't even hear anything!
Shooting range to shoot the Rezvani tank and actually prove that this thing is indeed bulletproof.
I feel like you would... Like, I'm kind of concerned about the, like oxygen situation here.
I am so excited right now. Before we get to the range, we've got to try out the smoke screen. So if you're driving along and
I feel like you should do it on the range, but okay.
Somebody that you don't want is following you, you can click the red button up here to activate the smoke screen, and apparently
that has to be
it's
illegal.
going to release a ridiculous amount of smoke
I bet you can't use it while driving. That has to be illegal.
out of the exhaust to blind anyone behind you. Let's try it out.
This has to be illegal. There's no fucking way you're allowed to do this while driving. Like, what the fuck? Oh, it's just... If it's not, I advocate for this being illegal. This is really fucked. The sovereign citizen. He wasn't drinking and driving. He was consuming a beverage and traveling. So you cannot arrest me, officer.
With one click of a button, we can activate the night vision camera right here, labeled CAM.
Literally every... Okay, that's not really a night vision. It seems like a thermal imaging camera, but okay.
And up on the screen...
That's literally not a night vision camera. That's a thermal imaging camera.
Pops the thermal imaging camera. It
okay.
Actually is capable of...
I didn't pre-watch. I promise I didn't pre-watch.
Yellow box to make them stand out more from the back.
Not very well, apparently.
In case you find yourself in a chemical warfare battle, it
They
does
did look like they're on the
actually
moon.
come with gas masks. Check this out. That is...
Wait, to be in this car, you have to wear, like, a scuba tank. Not that this is a scuba tank, but you know what I mean. Oh, I like its Rastafarian colors. We gotta listen to that weed song again.
pretty awesome. And there is an additional line of defense in case all of the other techniques don't work. Let me show you in the back.
Yeah, this is actually...
To the rear of the tank.
This... I don't know, does this look cool? It kind of looks like a toy, like a cheap toy. You know that shit's like impossible to see out of.
We've got this cool storage area. Opens upwards this way. There is another blinding light bar.
Also, I don't feel like that window is bulletproof. Look at how thin it is. Like, he just easily pulled that shit up.
Here, there are a box of extremely sharp tacks.
It's called caltrops, you idiot.
Actually has an automatic tack
Okay, well that is 100% illegal.
dropper underneath.
But there's no way you can have... Hold on. Caltrops illegal? Well, not to like own, but I mean like to throw. If the person intentionally or knowingly possesses... Oh! They're literally illegal. A caltrop is a tire deflation device and is prohibited weapon in Texas. In Texas, it's illegal. That's somewhat surprising. A person committing an offense if this person intentionally or knowingly possesses, manufactures, transports, repairs, or sells a tire deflation device. This offense is a state jail felony. It's a felony. You literally can't own caltrops, dude. At least in Texas. I don't know if that's like everywhere. Why is it specifically telling me Texas? Because I live here? Are caltrops illegal USA. Oh my god. Texas, okay. This is probably the same Texas story. Are caltrops legal in all 50 states to be sold? This is a one upvoted Reddit post, so I don't really know how much we're gonna believe that. It's approved timelines, actually. Caltrops are a road spike that is laid out, and my friend thinks we're making something. Okay, or we found many individuals. I'm just gonna go with the fact that I think they're illegal, and I thought they were because it makes sense. Like, what would you like? What is this, like your home defense caltrops?
The car that releases 40 tacks, so it pops the tires of enemy vehicles.
Literally illegal!
To make it lighter weight and easier to open, this is actually normal glass. Inside,
Which defeats the
we've got
point.
Ultra thick.
Oh, okay.
Bulletproof glass. Nice storage area here for guns and other equipment. We've also got a pistol safe right in the center console.
Wait, how are you gonna get to it if there's that big ass glass right there? You have to get out of the car to get to your guns?
In case you want to have your pistol stored away inside.
Yeah, it's a really interesting choice having Givenchy.
Thermal imaging camera. Normally it'd be parking sensors or a front
Yeah, but I'd rather be able to see the thing I'm about to run into instead of knowing it's there.
camera on your typical
Or having a sensor detect how close I am to it.
vehicle, but that way you can see stuff at nighttime. Now down below, we've got a steel reinforced bumper meant for ramming. So if you need to smash
Wait, can you really not toss
8,000-pound
tomatoes out of
bulletproof
your back
truck will
of your
run
car?
right through it. All right, let's go to the shooting range.
That's not a good thing! Why are you saying that? That you can just ram and murder people with your vehicle? I don't think Givenchy is that expensive. It's just a very posh brand, so it just seems odd in a comparison to. Also, this music is like the music that they use for like nice house tours, and it's just funny that they're out in like the middle of fucking nowhere. And this car looks like shit. Oh my god, this guy's channel name is called Vehicle Virgins. The fuck?
Oh yeah, and if you want to let people know you are arriving, there are a series of police sirens that you can activate using the...
I also thought that was illegal. Bro, there's no way this shit's like street legal. Police sirens legal? Shall be unlawful for any person except a person operating an authorized emergency vehicle to use a siren on any vehicle. Bro, how illegal is this car? Oh, provided that those who are permitted to use the siren shall be required to use the same only when an emergency call is being... Okay, so, you know, I was right about the first part. What is this? That's not what he's wearing, though. That is nuts that that's that expensive. It's more of a, like a thick t-shirt. These are $500? Oh, okay, never mind. I didn't realize Givenchy was that fucking bouge. Yeah, that's illegal as fuck. What? How am I still watching this trailer? Is it because I tabbed out? Oh my god. Fuck you, Twitch. So this is just illegal. Literally illegal.
That's awesome. All right, off to the range we go. This should be pretty interesting.
What are the comments?
Funny enough, actually, yesterday during the off-roading trip, we fired some AR-15s, and that's the gun we're going to be using today. Getting the tank ready to go at the shoot.
Interesting outfit choice this lady is doing for this shooting demonstration on the border wall? What are we looking at here? Where are they? Where does this person live?
Shooting range for being shot at. Man, this is exciting. So check this out, guys. We've got an uninstalled Rezvani tank window. And like I was saying, look how thick that piece of glass
looks like...
is. Get the guns loaded up.
Shoot into Mexico! Oh, fuck, they didn't finish it. God damn it, Biden. Okay, I've worn pants like this, or like the tactical pants. I feel like they're so fucking uncomfortable.
Check out the assortment of guns we've got going on today.
Oh my god. This seems just like dangerous. They got a water bottle sitting here with a bunch of just guns sitting around haphazardly. This is like when you're in Left 4 Dead and you hit like the safe house.
So before we actually shoot the car, we're going to shoot at a test.
Is he walking onto the range while they're shooting? Did you hear that?
So before we actually shoot the car,
Because he can't hear?
we're going to shoot at a test piece of glass, the exact same glass that goes in the tank. It's going to be interesting. Apparently the bullet actually sticks inside the glass.
It really sounds like it's shooting something like metal around him.
I was worried at first about it ricocheting, but let's see what happens.
I was really worried about ricocheting, so then we just had him do this with absolutely no guard at all.
Wow. Wow, look at that. Look at that. None of it went through.
I kind of like the way that looks, to be honest.
Look at that. None of it went through.
It sticks in.
All right, get a little shooting practice of my own.
This is not, I feel like, really good gun training. He's literally got his finger on the trigger. He's not looking at what he's doing, and I assume the safety's already off.
Down. Check it out, one of the bullets is stuck right there in the sheet of glass. That is epic. Just look at all of the fractures, but the fact that...
I mean, bulletproof glass, obviously, anything is generally not bulletproof if you shoot it enough times, but, it really fucked up the frame, and I feel like that would be, like, the biggest thing, is that I think the frame would fall out. Like when I set my G.I. Joes on fire, yeah.
None of them actually penetrated through. It's pretty cool. So this piece of glass was hit by...
I mean, there's an element to this of how, like, well the frame itself holds up, but I know those, like, doors are insane.
By about 25 different rounds from an AR-15 and then a handgun, and none of them penetrated.
Like, why would they retail, like, give these to people? Like, why would you want average citizens to be able to have this type of, like, gear? Because, like, what are you actually using this for? You're just fucking up the roads. Yeah, they're not using, like, heavy caliber rounds. Like, I don't get this about some, like, sort of military vehicles. Like, if you're in, like, the line of duty, right? Then you do want defense from, like, you know, most things, but they also know that, like, you know, certain caliber rounds probably aren't gonna fix. But, like, what life are you living that you would want this car? I don't want them to have it because I don't really understand why. Like, maybe if it's like a security vehicle, like, you would maybe need like maybe you do need a security license. I don't know enough about this company. But, like, the reason why I find it an issue because a lot of rich assholes, like fucking influencers, will buy shit like this and drive them on normal ass roads, and they're really dangerous. Like, they're dangerous to everyone around them because they're so heavy. Like, going overseas and need to transport someone through a hostile area. I mean, like, you're probably not buying a they already have APCs, dude. Like, if you're gonna go into, like, I don't think Joe Biden's in this thing, dude. Like, he would be in an APC, which is a, like, I mean, maybe for, like, certain countries. I don't know. Like where they have like you want to look a little bit more like a car. Rich assholes. Yeah, that's the problem. Is that I feel like it is exclusively made for rich assholes that are just gonna drive on like residential streets. Armor cars all the time. Yeah, but I mean, I'm not saying that I don't think that people do it. I just think it's silly. Like, imagine trying to drive this on a daily basis. You'd get like it probably has like a shorter like range than like an electric car does.
Now it's time to actually shoot the car.
Tactical.
Rolling it downfield. Just set up one of my GoPros on the inside window to capture what it'd be like to be inside of the tank.
I was wondering why he was yelling at me, and then I realized he's got earplugs in.
And be shot at. I definitely didn't think that when I started Vehicle Virgins, I'd be out here on a range shooting a Rezvani tank, but this is awesome.
Here we go. All right, so what gun are we using to shoot the Rezvani?
This is a 6 Hour 5.16. It shoots a 223 round and a 5.56. It's basically a...
What the fuck is a 223 round? What's a 223 round? I know what a 5.56 is. Oh, the fuck. Oh, .223. Are they bigger than a 5.56? Or are they the same type? Oh, it's the same thing. Okay, gotcha.
A piston version of an AR-15.
Gotcha.
That guy is such a fucking Steven Seagal. Again, the choice for this woman to wear heels is a very interesting one.
Here we go, guys. All right, let's check out the damage. Look at that from the inside. The crazy part is on the back, it's actually completely smooth.
You're in the same spot. There's no way that shit can take more than one hit. Well, it's already better than the Cybertruck, because that shit immediately got shattered.
Here we go, 2 rounds, and none of it has gone through. So it's 6 layers of glass and polycarbonate back to back, and it disperses the energy out.
Dude, they didn't say that car had AC.
To the sides. Looks like it did a very effective job.
Well, that was absolutely epic. Not too often you get to watch an SUV get shot at by a rifle. Now we're gonna take this out for a little more of a spin. Back on the road in the Rezvani tank. What a day this has been. Absolutely wild. There's something about driving this that just puts a smile on my face. It's absolutely ludicrous and not for everyone. But if you want something incredibly unique and unbelievably safe, the Rezvani tank is an awesome, awesome option. It starts at $295,000 for the military edition, so it isn't the cheap.
Stop ruining our roads, bitch! We don't need any more of that.
This vehicle. But how many cars do you know that have electrified door handles, smoke screens?
Yeah, we didn't show that, so the smoke screen seems incredibly... I mean, as far as I'm concerned, there's like 2 illegal aspects to this car.
Screens, gas masks, and that can withstand rifle rounds. Yeah, I can't really think of any. It actually has a really impressive turning radius as well. I guess the good news is, if you do end up
Helicopters are incredibly unsafe.
hitting anything,
R.I.P. Kobe.
gonna lose that battle. It's also really comfortable to drive. The ride quality for some.
This guy doesn't seem very tall, and it looks like his head's basically hitting the ceiling. And if he can't even lean back all the way. Also, are these like? It looks like the things that flip down that are like TVs, but I don't think that's what that is. We got phones now, so we don't really need that shit.
Something that's this lifted that has 37.
Yeah, but a small plane you can easily land if like your fucking engine gives out Or not easily, but it is very possible. If a helicopter engine gives out, you're just fucking dead. There's nothing you can do.
Inch tires is impressively
They're
good.
incredibly dangerous. Helicopters are insanely dangerous.
Some more unique interior features of the tank. In the center console here, lift this up, and we've got a passcode protected vault, so you can store money, valuables.
I assume that's where you'd put your gun.
Or a pistol for added safety. We've also got a
No, they can't. How?
full roll cage, but it's nicely wrapped in Alcantara, just like the rest of the headliner, so you can't really see it, but you do know it's there for added safety. We've also got, like on the Wrangler, integrated speakers.
Oh my god. I can't see what I'm doing with my hands, dude. Wait, so he just drove home with the glass? Oh, I assume they brought in a different one because this is clearly a different window. Maybe they just replaced it. They keep spin. I mean, that lasts for a very short amount of time. Like, what do you mean? Like, compared to an airplane, though? Like helicopters are incredibly dangerous. Helicopter versus plane safety. Sure.
What caused the helicopter crash that killed basketball legend Kobe Bryant and 8 others remains a mystery tonight.
After this crash and other high-profile incidents, many wondered, how safe are helicopters? Good question.
An interesting choice to have this put in here.
Here's Heather Brown.
In 2019, the NTSB investigated 125 helicopter accidents in the U.S. 24 were fatal.
The deadly crash of a sightseeing
That's kind of surprising it's that low.
helicopter, including
I guess it depends what you would consider a crash.
crashes from tours in Hawaii.
The medical helicopter Deb was on crashed.
And one when a North Memorial Air Care helicopter went down in Brainerd.
How safe are helicopters?
Well, helicopters are not inherently dangerous.
Former Army Colonel Jerry Kidrick flew helicopters for 30 years.
They're mechanically sound. There are millions of hours to get flown on helicopters without incident.
Wi-Fi, not VC. Is that the password to their Wi-Fi? Now we know their password, guys. Doxed.
Mechanically
CBS work Wi-Fi, not VC.
sound. There are millions of hours to get flown on helicopters without incident.
The data doesn't make it easy to compare different kinds of aircraft, but one study using numbers from 2017 found minus the military and the airlines, for commercial fixed-wing planes, there were 1.92 accidents for every 100,000 flight hours. They were fatal 0.56 times. For commercial helicopters,
Wait, per 1,000 flights, okay.
there were 2.69 accidents for every 100,000 flight hours, but they were fatal only 0.28 times.
Wait, what do you mean point? Why is this number larger? Because it's in proportion to the amount of crashes? So helicopters crash more often, but they're not as fatal? Which, I don't really know how to translate that.
If something goes wrong, you don't have a lot of time to react in a helicopter.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. We rehearsed that because you are near the ground and you are near power lines and you are near trees and you are near other obstructions that you may or may not be aware of. You know, cell phone towers and radio towers.
Professor Kidrick says helicopters differ from other aircraft in a lot of ways. Often they fly for difficult reasons. Medical helicopters, search and rescue.
Blowing snow, blowing dust, those are all things that affect helicopters.
And then there's the weather. Fixed-wing planes can generally fly above or around it.
Helicopters can generally fly in poorer weather because they have the ability to land if it gets too bad. They have, you know, you can land in somebody's backyard. But should you is always the question.
Ultimately, who decides
When I played Microsoft Flight Simulator, I was pretty good with the helicopter.
whether or not it's okay to fly?
Well, if you're working for a company or the military, there's a structure in place.
And if the helicopter is in controlled airspace, there are rules there too.
Once you get in the air, it's up to the pilot. It's up to the pilot to make those decisions. It's up to the pilot for everything, really, once airborne.
Heather Brown, WCCO 4 News.
I feel like that wasn't really Oh my god, I'm selling this fucking cat! You just played it again. Please don't do it. Nah. Well, I'm gonna run to the bathroom. Well, we can start playing this other one. This is one $700,000.
$1,000 and $10,000. But this car, it's absolutely another car, and you even can understand it with the price. It's starting at $285,000 and maximum spec costs $700,000. And before we will go deep to details, let's have a look on exterior, on interesting moments in it. Yeah, so front part is so aggressive, just look on it. Yeah, here you can see some Escalade moments, Escalade lights, but we have much more another lights here in the hood. Also light bar there. And also here we have steel bumper. It's just amazing. This car is really ready for apocalypses. Here we have 22-inch wheels. And
yeah, I feel like,
how
are you gonna get enough gas?
35-inch. And if we will go to
like one of the biggest things I feel like is like to have something like this, like the efficiency of this would be like, oh, it's California. We love that for you having to have a license plate. would have to be like so poor. I'd rather just dig a hole.
You will be shocked, especially if you watch it from this point of view. 375, like on hypercar, yeah? And this
is like
hypercar. SUV hypercar.
Oh my god, look at how big it is in the lane.
If we're comparing it with regular Escalade, if we're talking about exterior, here we have absolutely another type of doors. So opening it here, and of course, bulletproof glasses.
Okay, how much is this really going to be different? Oh my god, the hydraulics of that's not going to fucking last, dude. This is such a scam. You know this car doesn't cost that much to make. Yeah, not big enough. True. How am I gonna get my boys, dude? How am I gonna get my fucking my troops on the ground when it only fits like 4 people? I love how this person's already bored. I appreciate the POV though. That's interesting. I don't know if I love it, but I feel like it would feel too much like I'm playing a video game. Corgi compartments, let's go. I feel like this like makes you like want to be more dangerous if you just have like a like a video game style monitor. Get that Tesla! Get it! Run it off the road. I assume that's the film crew.
This Rizvani Vengeance goes with a military package, and with military package you're getting a lot of interesting details, like 7 helmets and other armor things like this, for example, with Rizvani
Really?
Page. So yeah, military package really helps you to be ready for everything. When you are ordering your Vengeance, it can be without armor, and this one with military package, it's already armored.
Hey, that's the other guy.
And if you want B6 Plus, you need to pay $30,000 more, and you'll be like fully protected.
I bet this place like just lets you like drive it around the block or something for your YouTube video for like $1,000 or a few $1,000 or something. Because this is the exact same place that other woman took that video. It's got a winch on it, which is nice. Winches are very useful. The Marauder? Is that one of these?
And right now, guys, we're in Rizvani showroom. Just look how beautiful here.
Rizvani.
And also here we can see some interesting cars. So this is prototype of Rizvani.
When I think of a military car company, I don't expect to see this.
Supercar. Soon it will be unveiling, and we will see another beast from them.
All right, I'm over it.
Name
This guy
is
needs
Rizvani
a
beast, which is interesting. And
rudder.
here we have previous generation of their.
This?
Tell you what, you do get some people
Oh, Top
telling you
Gear.
about how they feel a bit nervous.
11
in
years ago.
Johannesburg. I don't. No.
Are they in South Africa?
It's a weird feeling because I'm both worried about bumping into things because it's big and not worried about bumping into things because, well, frankly, who cares?
Like the original Hummer, the Marauder is a military-spec vehicle that ordinary civilians can buy.
All you have to do is pass a background check to prove you're not a villain living in a hollowed-out volcano and come up with a check for £300,000.
That is Rolls-Royce Phantom money for a machine that's not exactly the last word in luxury.
Take the back seats, for instance. There are 8 of
Oh, these are actual APC. See, there we go. That's what I'm talking about.
them, which is good, but I don't think you'll be renting this out as a wedding car any day soon.
I would.
And as for the
That'd be
dashboard,
funny.
they've clearly decided not to go for the walnut and leather option on here, partly because they need to leave room for all the switches, partly because the wood might clash with the wood on the machine guns. Yeah.
However, the Marauder does compensate in other areas.
Take this annoying slow traffic that I'm stuck in now. Normally, this is where you need some expensive sat-nav system to give you alternative routes. The
Forgot they call it
doesn't
sat-nav.
need sat-nav. There you go. There you go. Oh, yeah. It really does control its immense weight very well. Yes.
If I learned anything from their Bolivia escapades, it doesn't really seem like you need that crazy of a car to do it. Something like that.
Is this like off-roading quite a large building?
I guess the idea is that it's
Right, now.
a big car.
Oh, that gap's big enough. It is now. Oh, Lord.
No, I miss Top Gear.
In fact, the Marauder has several benefits as a city runabout. Imagine, for example, that you nip off to get a coffee, and this happens.
Oh, that's not nice. No.
Now, normally, the tow-away people leave you powerless and...
Oh, look at how tiny that door looks. It's so funny.
But not this time.
The Marauder.
Yeah. It's because they're all doing their own thing. Like, James May is doing, like, some travel thing. Jeremy Clarkson is probably dead. I don't know what he's doing.
Got 290 brake horsepower and a top speed of just 70 miles an hour, which admittedly isn't brilliant. However,
That had to be a dude doing that. Like, I feel like that isn't an automatic
the
door.
torque figure is astonishing.
Oh, no, it was the car.
Which is a lot.
And that makes
Or
it
farm
pretty
show.
good in a tow-away tug-of-war.
This seems incredibly dangerous to film this with random people walking around. Let's assume they're actors.
We're going this way. Yes, there you go.
Another
Clarkson
everyday
Farm.
irritation. Popping
I know
into
he's
the
into
supermarket
wine, like he's
and coming out to find yourself blocked in. Again, no problem for the Marauder thanks to its vertical climbing system.
Low range, 4-wheel drive, diff lock, put it in drive, handbrake off.
Oh my god, that's... I mean, this basically is just an APC.
It's really kind of the ideal shopping car.
But let's not get carried away. Because, like everything, the Marauder has its weak points. Visiting a
I like how it looks like a GPU with these fans. Maybe it's the vice versa.
drive-thru, for example.
Now, normally, at about this point, you'd roll down the windows and get ready to say, cheeseburger and chips, please. But, problem is, the Marauder's windows are, you know, for tough situations. They're 90 millimeters thick. They can shrug off an RPG.
Oh, I guess that other car didn't say the windows could roll down, right? So I would assume you cannot roll down the windows. That makes sense.
And as a result, you can't open them. So this is where it gets a bit awkward.
Good morning, can I take your order, please?
Hello? If you're there, I'd like a cheeseburger and some chips, please. This is the riot situation.
Chips.
Don't be alarmed.
But the real problem comes when you drive around to collect your order.
I always wondered, did they set these up or did they just like pay them to do it? Like I don't understand when they do things like in public.
Don't be alarmed, I'm not shooting.
Oh my god, that's so ridiculous. You got it!
So,
You got this!
Mark against the Marauder there. And if you happen to visit a safari park, you might find that the windscreen wipers aren't that tough. But is this
Bro.
a weak spot? Let's see.
This is some shit the H3 podcast would do.
Now, this is where we're going to do a little test you won't find in the NCAP ratings. And we start, not with this, but with that.
Our old friend, the Hummer. Whose underside was packed with 7 pounds of plastic explosive.
Yeah, there's no fucking way that car could do what I assume the Marauder's gonna do.
Really not much point trying to see if it will start because some pretty important bits are missing.
So the H3 is like Hummer itself.
No! Not the H3 podcast. Speaking of...
Very dead. But the important question is, what happens to the
Wait, why are you saying F? Are we effing?
Marauder when you put the same amount of explosives underneath it?
Seems fine on my end. Oh, for the Hummer. More like an L. That looked really bad. That looked really bad. Lived it?
Right, well, clearly what's happened here is there was a fight between the Marauder and the Earth. And the Earth lost, and the explosion has just dug a big hole.
Oh, is it?
Okay. Fingers crossed. That was definitely an inconvenience, but
Now I just want to watch Top Gear. No way that's getting out of there. That fucking tire's fucked. No! Propaganda. I mean... Well, that was impressive. Are you... Alright, I didn't get to anything in the title so far, so what did I put?
You're like way prettier in person.
Wait, what?
LeBron.
Yeah, so I'm just kind of
Which one do we want to
This
cover?
case has the
Oh, which one do
potential
this
to
one?
end the internet as we know it. The internet flourishes
You want one?
on user-generated content.
Well, it's only
the backbone of the
$300,000,
internet.
so.
And if you write or say something that
pounds.
is illegal, you can be held liable for what you said. But usually the websites that host your content are not liable. And when you hear about Section 230, this is usually what we're talking about. But if
So this is that the Supreme Court could destroy the internet next week, which was 6 days ago, so I guess that would be this week.
websites were also liable for what users say, then websites would either shut down almost everything or police things so tightly that there would be basically nothing even remotely objectionable. Because if there's one thing that websites hate, it's being on the hook for billions and billions of dollars of potential liability and attorney's fees. And this isn't just some potential hypothetical. In the past, when laws made websites liable for user content, they just shut down the content and never came back. And one case before the Supreme Court this term seeks to do exactly that, but for all of the internet. No joke, this has the potential to end the internet as we know it today. So how did we get here?
Did I get here?
Well, it started with a tragedy. Noemi Gonzalez was a design major at California State University, Long Beach, who was spending a semester studying in Paris. On the evening of November 15th, 2015, she was dining with friends at a cafe on the Champs-Elysees when an ISIS terrorist with a gun opened fire. Gonzalez was killed along with 130 other people in coordinated attacks at 6 locations across the city. ISIS claimed responsibility for the attacks.
Is that what the Paris attacks were? I don't remember it being that crazy, but oh god, there's so much of this happening. What sucks, I kind of get why people like check out of politics stuff, because it's like it's just so devastating and it just makes like I feel like it's really difficult to pay attention to everything and not get doom repelled.
And eventually 20 men were convicted of crimes related to the massacre. The lone surviving gunman was sentenced to life without parole. So, was justice served? Well, the Gonzalez family
That wasn't even that long ago, dude.
It was not, because there was another perpetrator still at large, YouTube. The family sued Google, which owns YouTube, alleging that YouTube's algorithms amplify violent videos and hateful content, despite the company's efforts to ban violent accounts and limit
Militants, wait, they were showing beheading videos on YouTube? What the fuck?
their reach. The Gonzalez family says that YouTube's recommendations expose people.
What? Are you trying to go to sleep? Okay, well I do, because
People to hateful content, radicalize viewers, and encourage them to make terrorist attacks of their own. Google argued that because ISIS, not YouTube, made and uploaded those videos, YouTube was not the provider or developer of those videos, and therefore it was immune from liability under 47 U.S.C. Section 230, otherwise known as Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act. Section 230 of the CDA immunizes internet services for the content that its users upload, and often allows websites to remove content without taking on liability. But the Gonzalez plaintiffs contend that YouTube's recommendations should not be covered by Section 230.
Wait, this is an American Supreme Court ruling, right? So I guess they were just citing the Paris attacks as an example of it?
Because the company is acting like a content
Interesting.
creator rather than a publisher. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals held that the Gonzalez claims fell within Section 230 and Google was immune from suit. The Gonzalez parties appealed, and the Supreme Court granted cert to answer the question of whether Section 230 immunizes an interactive computer service from liability for recommending
Oh, because, I mean, YouTube's an American company.
other party content. Now, in support of their claims, plaintiffs allege that, quote, 2 of the 12 ISIS terrorists who carried out the attacks used online social media platforms to post links to ISIS recruitment YouTube videos and, quote, jihadi YouTube videos. One of the men who fired at Gonzalez had appeared in an ISIS recruiting video in 2014. Now, the plaintiffs argue that the defendants violated the Anti-Terrorism Act, the ATA.
I'm just making a joke about the fact that the last Modern Warfare game was, the main villain's name was his son.
By allowing ISIS to post videos on YouTube. Under Section 2333 of the ATA, as amended by the Justice Against Sponsors of Terrorism Act, Americans who are injured by, quote, an act of international terrorism that is committed, planned, or authorized by a terrorist organization may sue any person who, quote, aids and abets by knowingly providing substantial assistance or who conspires with a person who committed such an act of international terrorism and recover treble damages. So the legal question in the lower courts was whether a social media platform that was not used to commit a specific, quote, act of international terrorism may still be liable for aiding and abetting under Section 2333. The plaintiffs say that the answer is yes, that Google aided and abetted an act of international terrorism.
No, he hasn't. Would you say that?
Conspired with the perpetrator of an act of international terrorism.
I can't handle
provided
that
material
as a
support to
concept.
ISIS by allowing ISIS to use YouTube. And of course, the defendants say no, the plaintiff's claims are barred by Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act, which often immunizes interactive computer services, aka websites, even when they make targeted recommendations. The trial court and the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals sided with Google, ruling that the claims fell within Section 230.
I don't know. I think that algorithms should have to. I mean, like the whole idea of like the whole Microsoft AI bot being turned into a Nazi. Not that it's the exact same thing, but I feel like the people who are making the algorithms should be very aware of what the algorithm meme holes turn into, because that does influence people's behavior.
Section C, because ISIS, not YouTube, created or developed the relevant content. The court said that YouTube, quote, selects the particular content provided to a user based on that user's inputs. The display of recommended content results from algorithms that are merely, quote, tools meant to facilitate the communication and content of others, and not content in and of themselves. As the lower courts noted, the recommendations are based on the user's preferences, not YouTube's. The plaintiffs argue that Section 230C does not apply to, quote, activities that promote or recommend content. So let's dig deeper into what all of this means. First of all, the plaintiffs are not simply arguing that platforms are liable because terrorists have used their services. They argue that the powerful algorithms that recommend content are not covered by the CDA because the recommendations are content in and of themselves. And as the Ninth Circuit said, the complaint alleges Google uses computer algorithms to match and suggest content to users based upon their viewing history. The Gonzalez plaintiffs allege that in this way, Google has recommended ISIS videos to users and enabled users to locate other videos and accounts related to ISIS, and that by doing so, Google assists ISIS in spreading its message. So the plaintiffs claim that YouTube facilitates communications between ISIS and people who watch their videos, thereby aiding ISIS in recruiting new members. The plaintiffs acknowledge that YouTube removed ISIS videos and suspended or blocked ISIS users at various times. However, the plaintiffs claim that YouTube should have been able to stop ISIS from reestablishing the accounts using new identities. And the plaintiffs allege that Google left some of the ISIS videos up because they did not contain content violating the site's policies. At other times, Google removed the offending content, but did not suspend or ban the accounts. Now, we've talked about Section 230 of the CDA many times on this channel. Section 230 was created back in 1996 at the dawn of the internet. It has two key provisions. Section 230C1 says, quote, no provider or user of an interactive computer service shall be treated as the publisher or speaker of any information provided by another information content provider. This sentence is often called the 26 words that created the internet. This section stipulates that providing access to third-party content does not make an online provider the publisher or speaker of that content. Now, the second major part of the law is Section 230C2, the so-called Good Samaritan provision, which states, quote, no provider or user of an interactive computer service shall be held liable on account of any action voluntarily taken in good faith to restrict access to or availability of material that the provider or user considers to be obscene, lewd, lascivious, filthy, excessively violent, harassing, or otherwise objectionable, whether or not such material is constitutionally protected. So this provision gives online platforms broad immunity from liability if they moderate content in good faith. This provision was meant to allow websites to police itself without incurring new liability because it was an issue of knowledge. A website might not know what speech was hosted on that particular website, in which case they wouldn't be liable for it. But if they knew that illegal speech or defamatory speech or some other kind of speech was hosted there and then took steps to remove it from the website itself, then they actively had knowledge of that particular speech and thus might become liable for hosting it in the future. So websites found themselves on the horns of a dilemma until Section 230 of the CDA was passed to allow them to engage in good faith moderation. Because there was generally a knowledge requirement to be liable.
Just ban all conservatives, fuck it.
For things that were hosted on your website. If you had no knowledge of what kind of speech was on your website or platform, then you generally weren't liable for it. But the argument went that if you...
That's actually kind of a thing that Twitch has as an example, not necessarily on this particular case, because it's not like defamation that we're talking about, but it is kind of a loophole where Twitch is a little bit more lax with... Like they told people to just delete copyright content and they're not going to retroactively look at it. And it's more of a just don't tell me about it and just stop doing it type of thing. Are you stuck? I wasn't even talking.
If you started to moderate your website, then that was evidence that you knew what was on there and therefore you became liable for all the stuff that you were trying to...
Oh, that brings me back.
...remove from your website. This
I have so many times accidentally downloaded
applied
porn
to
on my
spam, to pornography, to pirated media, to defamation, you name it. So the CDA was enacted in 19...
This was Kicks and it clapped. I don't know if you guys saw, but Aiden Ross was literally watching porn on his Kick stream. You think they care? Razor saying it's against their TOS. Yeah, they don't care. But the thing is, that still would be, I think, a liability issue.
1996.
What? Well, the thing is, he was like asking like, how old is his audience? And they're like 15, 14, you know, like whatever. But like, obviously that could be like not just people trolling, or it could be just people trolling. But well, there's no like even like age barrier. Like that website is a ticking time bomb of getting fucked legally. The Super Bowl? That website let the Super Bowl get broadcast. It's owned by Stake. But that's not the same thing as gambling. The Super Bowl is an incredibly powerful organization. The fact that they're letting Aiden Ross, like, I think they're going to probably end up throwing him under the bus at some point. And then Aiden Ross is going to get sued into oblivion. But we'll see.
When the internet was still in its infancy. At the time, companies like...
And it comes up on Google? Yeah, they can. But the thing is, they're not watching, like, a YouTube video and then all of a sudden porn starts coming on. If you're already watching something that you watch normally that is usually, like, family-friendly or whatever, and then all of a sudden porn comes on, it's a completely different story if you're in like, outside of you looking for it. Probably. Twitch does not have graphic porn of people having sex. Also, Marjorie Taylor Greene is fucking retarded, so I don't... Steak was streaming it? What? You restream it on any Stake platforms? I don't think that's true. Did you just make that up? Link me if you think that that's the case, or that you know that's the case. Freezer! Yes, I'm streaming! This is what I'm saying why I don't like you being in here sometimes. Because I feel like I want to talk to you, but then it's not like we're in the same... Stake, okay, you're linking stake.com. Don't link me stake.com. Link the exact stream. It doesn't matter if they were streaming it. They said, like, Aiden Ross does not have the permissions to do it. Had sex on stream. The creator of the site that Twitch was built on had sex on stream. Checkmate, atheists.
CompuServe and Prodigy were the portals
What?
that allowed people to access the internet. People could share files, exchange messages, and chat with each other in real time. But that posed a dilemma. Who would be liable if
Wait, aren't you spelling it wrong? Isn't it S-T-A-K-E? Is it the joke that they're saying steak? Like, eating steak?
if a user posted something defamatory or shared something else that was illegal? Would liability go beyond the person that was responsible for the post?
I think he was just making a joke. That's my bad. I didn't realize what you were
Or
saying.
would the internet companies who hosted the content also be on the hook? And that brings us to the distinction between content publishers, distributors, and platforms, which is often completely misunderstood.
Well, you posted steak like the food.com.
In the pre-internet age, publishers, distributors, and platforms were treated differently under the law. Publishers were newspapers, magazines.
Bro, I'm a little autistic, dude. You gotta give me some credit. I'm just gonna assume that you're joking if I don't get it.
And broadcast stations.
Be good.
They were
fade.
generally liable for republishing material from third parties since they solicited the things that they published and they could vet those materials.
Dude, remember back in the day where that
businesses
was the
like
way it was?
bookstores, newsstands, and libraries, which distributed material that was printed by others. And distributors were not required to assess every book that they sold. For example, in the 1950s, the Supreme Court overturned a Los Angeles ordinance that said if you have obscene material in your bookstore,
I mean, I'm just saying
you can be
that
held criminally
you're
responsible. And in that
you
case, a
typed in
bookstore owner was
steak
convicted of violating the
.com.
ordinance by selling a novel called Sweeter Than Life, which tells the story of a, quote,
Was the Super
ruthless
Bowl posted
lesbian
on
businesswoman.
steak.com?
The Supreme Court said that the bookstore
Oh,
couldn't be
shit.
responsible for reviewing every single
Lesbians.
thing in the book or magazine that it sells. And distributors only had liability if someone notified them that something they carried was illegal. That's sort of the origin of the knowledge requirement. And platforms were common carriers like phone companies and television broadcasters. Platforms weren't liable for third-party content that they carried. So, for example, let's say AT&T found out that someone's answering machine had a libelous
Well, no, I asked you to link it, and you linked me a website called steak.com that is spelled like the food. I'm asking a qualifying question. Did you mistype it, or did you mean to say that this steak.com streamed it? Okay, but then how do I know that? Well, then why did you link steak.com?
outgoing message. Was AT&T required to
Okay, so you have no way to prove that they did let them. Is there an article saying that they can stream it? Like, there's other ways to prove that, dude. You just. What do you mean? I'm not gonna go on steak.com, dude.
act by canceling the owner's telephone service? Well, the court said no, AT&T couldn't be sued for libel simply because the owner used its service to say something libelous. And similarly, a broadcaster wasn't liable for running a political candidate that falsely accused someone of being a communist. But then
The worst offense.
the internet came around, and the internet
Sorry, we gotta arrest Rachel.
era posed
Who
a new
called me a
challenge for
communist.
this case law. Two of the first internet service providers, CompuServe and Prodigy, were sued for hosting forums where users posted defamatory content. Now, Prodigy billed itself as a family-friendly version of the internet.
Did you get a computer recently? Well, congratulations. You can now join hundreds of thousands who've discovered Prodigy.
It moderated comments, removing things it thought were bad. Now, CompuServe didn't moderate anything.
CompuServe combines the power of your computer with the convenience of your telephone.
CP.
And both of those companies were sued for defamatory statements that their users posted to the service. Now, the case against CompuServe was dismissed because the court considered it a distributor of content rather than a publisher. CompuServe could only be held liable for defamation if it knew or had reason to know of the defamatory nature of the content. And since they didn't do anything to moderate their forums, the company couldn't possibly know, or at least argued it couldn't possibly know, about what the denizens of Rumorville were posting about each other. But Prodigy was found liable for failing to moderate enough. Someone went on a forum and claimed that Jordan Belfort's investment firm, Stratton Oakmont, committed fraud in connection with a stock IPO. The
That
firm sued
that couldn't possibly be true.
Prodigy and the anonymous poster for defamation. And a court held that Prodigy was liable as the publisher of the content created by its users, since it exercised editorial control over the messages on its bulletin board. Now, if the names Jordan Belfort and Stratton Oakmont ring a bell, that's because they were literally scamming people out of millions of dollars and have gone down as some of the biggest fraudsters in all of Wall Street history. The movie The Wolf of Wall Street is based on the fraud that they were perpetrating with respect to the IPOs.
remember watching this movie and having like no opinion on it after I watched it. I was like, oh, it's okay. Like this is like The Wolf of Wall Street is like a movie that I literally had like no opinion on. Outside of like, I think I liked it, but it was just because we were on like a Martin Scorsese kick. And I like Martin Scorsese's direction or whatever, but I was just kind of like,
And it's one of the biggest ironies.
What?
In all of First Amendment law that they won this lawsuit against the people that were hosting.
Yeah, the U.S. government is an entity with many, many actors within it, and Jordan Belfort is like one individual plus. Oh, why does he have like a phone thing to like record him? But he was a very, very small inner circle of actors.
Presumably accurate
And
information
the
about how
government's
they
got
were scam-
like hundreds of thousands of people that you'd have to, go through checks and balances.
People out of money. That's part of the problem when websites,
or not that the checks and balances, but the fact is, like, yeah, they would do more fraud.
are liable for user
They got more
content is that people can file lawsuits to stifle speech. That's what a slap lawsuit is all about. And because lawsuits are incredibly expensive, sometimes even if you scammed people out of money, as long as you file a lawsuit, you can stifle that kind of speech. But I digress. As a result of these cases, internet service providers basically
Legal Eagle looks so much like John Krasinski.
either decided to
I'm
not
convinced
moderate
it's a
at all
character.
and leave absolutely everything up, or basically moderate everything and not allow anything to go up. And basically,
John
no one was
Krasinski
happy
is the
with this
guy
state
from
of
The
affairs.
Office,
So
if
Congress
you're
enacted the
wondering who I'm talking
Communications Decency Act. And then, as now, lawmakers claim to be especially worried about things like harassment and obscene material. So they gave online providers immunity from lawsuits if they moderated content. And again, the irony here is that this legislation came from the sort of family values type politicians, the people who always want to think about the children.
The children.
They wanted to allow websites to remove violent and sexual conduct so that the internet could be even cleaner.
No,
The same
we love Game of
politicians who
Thrones.
wanted and got the little parental advisory explicit content warnings put on rap albums. But I digress again. Section 230 was intended as a way for internet companies to create and enforce basic standards to run their websites. And when the CompuServe and Prodigy cases were decided, the courts only considered whether the ISPs were publishers or distributors. But an internet service like a website didn't fit neatly into those categories. A traditional publisher has total control over whether to publish content. A distributor can
Oh my
control
God, that
what
was
it
a math
buys,
book.
but it wouldn't have been practical for a
Bad
human
math.
to fully screen every item. Modern social media companies host more material than any library or bookstore on Earth, which makes screening all of that info daunting, if not impossible. And without Section 230, social media companies would be subject to strict liability for every message and post made on their services. So Congress chose to give those platforms and websites immunity as an incentive to get them to remove offending speech. Congress also chose not to dictate to those companies which speech they had to remove. So that brings us back to the original question in this case. How should courts read Section 230? The lower courts follow the test set forth in the Ninth Circuit case called Barnes versus Yahoo, and the Barnes test hews close to the text of Section 230. The law specifies that only 1, no interactive computer service, shall be 2, treated as a publisher or speaker, of 3, content provided by another information content provider, aka users. Now, the plaintiffs argue their claims do not treat Google as a publisher, but instead assert a simple duty not to support terrorists. They said that the ATA prohibits Walmart
That's too high of a bar.
from supplying fertilizer, knives, or other material to ISIS, and in the same way, the ATA bars Google from giving ISIS a platform to communicate. The Ninth Circuit found this analogy specious. The idea of a duty not to support terrorists, quote,
Oh fuck! I should have done this one at the beginning.
overlooks
We
that
get so
publication
distracted
itself
by the
is the form
tanks.
of support Google allegedly provided to ISIS, and publication of third-party content is what Section 230 gives to internet services. According to lower courts, publishing encompasses, quote, any activity that can be boiled down to deciding whether to exclude material that third parties seek to post
Nice.
online. Google says that the CDA uses the words publisher or speaker in an ordinary sense. Quote, based on an ordinary meaning, a publisher or speaker is one that publishes or speaks. Google contends that when YouTube's algorithms make recommendations, this activity is protected by Section 230. Quote, Congress underscored that publishing for purposes of Section 230 includes sorting content via algorithms by defining interactive computer service to include tools that pick, choose, filter, search, subset, organize, or reorganize content. Congress intended to provide protection for these functions, not for simply hosting third-party content. And the plaintiffs disagree. Their interpretation of the Section 230C defense is that it requires a narrower interpretation of the word publisher. The Ninth Circuit previously held that Section 230C1 uses publisher in its everyday sense, and the Second Circuit agreed. But the plaintiffs contend that the word publisher is used in Section 230C1 with a narrower and distinct meaning, which that term has in defamation law. Basically, the plaintiffs are claiming that any time YouTube recommends another video, it therefore becomes the speaker of that video, as if YouTube had produced that video itself. Now, defendants say that this interpretation doesn't make sense. Quote, watch the World Series of Poker on YouTube, and YouTube's algorithms might display Texas Hold'em tutorials. That does not mean that YouTube endorses gambling any more than spell-check endorses a suggested substitute word. Westlaw endorses higher listed cases, or a chat room endorses posts organized by topic. As the Ninth Circuit noted, YouTube applies the same algorithms to all content. And it's here that I think people often
I'm gonna have to rewatch this at some point where I wasn't like tank pilled.
Understand the nature of the internet.
All I can think about is like
media.
insanely
With the case of YouTube,
souped up cars.
People upload millions of videos a day. If there wasn't an algorithm to sort through this deluge of videos, the only way to sort through them would be a fire hose of viewing every video chronologically, which nobody wants. It would be that or doing a pointed search to try and find content, but then you'd never be exposed to content that you actually do want to watch but didn't know that you wanted to seek it out. And the plaintiffs have tried to differentiate between search results and other algorithmically generated results.
Phil DeFranco, disgusting.
But there's really no principled way to distinguish between results that are sorted when you actively search for something versus results that are presented to you because of a recommendation.
I'll answer any question about this. What are you wondering? Why you asked that?
Recommendation algorithm. And people love to hate algorithms, myself included. But the truth is, if there weren't algorithms to help us sort through all of the content on social media platforms, it would be impossible to wade through it. And then additionally, there's the issue of the material support related for a claim under the Anti-Terrorism Act. Now, the Department of Justice's brief in support...
Again, we love the fact everyone gets pissed off about Andrew Tate being held indefinitely, even though he's not technically held indefinitely. We have the same fucking qualifying thing here with the Patriot Act, where if you are a foreigner, which he is in Romania, you can be, or immigrant, I mean, same thing basically, you can be held indefinitely without charges in the United States.
Of the plaintiffs argues that algorithmic recommendations convey the website's own implicit.
Hold on, what do you say? Dick walk into a bar, says bartender, give me a drink. Bartender says, I'll nail your bill to the bar, go away and get... Oh, what? Why would somebody say that? Next day, Duck walks in the same bar, says bartender, got any nails? Bartender says, no, Duck. No, says no. No, Duck says, then give me a damn drink. What? Oh, Duck walks into a bar, says bartender, give me a drink. Bartender says, I'll nail your bill. Oh, like his bill of his mouth. Like, I'm guessing is a joke. Go away and get lost. Next day, Duck walks into the same bar, says bartender, got any nails? Bartender says, no. Duck say that, wait, what? No, Duck say then give me a damn... Okay, I don't even know what the fuck you're saying.
Message that users will find the information relevant, and that makes the website liable because it's acting just like ISIS itself.
Cheetah, do you have somebody to host?
Now, plaintiffs didn't claim this in their original complaint.
I had a long, really anxiety-filled day, so we're gonna end it after this.
Instead, they
video.
focused on how YouTube's recommendations amplified the ISIS speech, making it more visible to more users. But the U.S. government urged the Supreme Court to adopt a narrow reading of Section 230 that would permit a finding that Google materially contributed to the content by matching it to user preferences. Again, basically, the Department of
we got so distracted watching like APV videos and like tank like weird tank car videos for like 3 hours.
Justice, as well as the plaintiffs, are arguing for a standard that if any website promotes content,
It was good content,
uses an
but-
algorithm, or recommends content to users,
I'm just really tired.
that website then becomes liable
Big
for
Tate fan, of
all of the
course.
speech contained
The biggest
within
Tate
that
fan.
recommendation. What happens when websites are liable? Well, remember I mentioned that this has actually happened before? Well, it has. In 2018,
I'm so sorry. And Razor's literally snoring. So
then President Trump signed into law 2 bills making it easier to fight sex trafficking online.
'cause my bed is on the
That
other
was
side
the
of
Fight
my...
Online Sex Trafficking Act and the Stop Enabling Sex Traffickers
He did
Act,
it.
otherwise known as FOSTA and SESTA. And those 2 laws created an exception to Section 230
Interesting.
Safe Harbor
Wait, interesting. The Tate fans are also usually fans of
rule
Trump.
by stating that websites could be held legally responsible if third parties posted ads for prostitution on their platforms. The law
Like Andrew Tate.
penalizes websites which, quote, promote or facilitate prostitution. And while this includes sites that promote illegal sex work, it also allows the police to investigate any site that is knowingly assisting, facilitating, or supporting sex trafficking. This language can be read to include sites with content that is legal, such as escort services, personal ads, and pornography. Now, critics of FOSTA and SESTA warned that the new laws were too broad
That sounds
and
like
they
type
would
of
end up
planes.
killing internet content that has nothing to do with sex trafficking. And they turned out to be correct. If a third party posts content that is covered by FOSTA or SESTA, and the website fails to prevent that content from being posted, that website can be sued. And that was simply too much legal risk for several websites.
You should have gone for the head.
Craigslist shut down its entire personal section. Tumblr banned all adult content, and Reddit removed several subreddits, and other websites just simply shut down entirely. So you might ask, did any of this assist with the prosecution of sex trafficking? Well, in 2021, the US Government Accountability Office released a report on the first 3 years of FOSTA and SESTA, finding that, quote, over 3 years, the Department of Justice filed just 1 case under its rules against promoting or recklessly disregarding sex trafficking. So ironically, this provided essentially the perfect natural experiment to find out what happens when websites are liable for the speech content
Interesting.
of its users. One of two things will happen. Either the website shuts down that section or shuts down the entire department, or the website employs an army of moderators to remove anything even remotely offensive. You basically either live in a world where a website allows everything, scams, spam, pornography, ultra-violence, just everything that you can possibly imagine.
I've already said I'm bought a sex, but a what? Sex trafficker. They won't call. Oh fuck! I'm gonna go over this tomorrow. Well, this one also tomorrow. But speaking of bots. Dude, I spell TikTok wrong every single fucking time. Okay, we'll watch that video and then we're gonna end it after.
Imagine that you probably don't want to see in your
After
everyday
this.
life, or you live in a world where they
Or should I save it for
employ
tomorrow?
extremely expensive moderators who prevent anything that
Let's save
might
it for tomorrow.
possibly be offensive. And that, of course, assumes that a website can even afford to employ those moderators. So there are those who want to see Section 230 modified or scrapped altogether, and have argued that these online services are acting like
Wait, Cheetah, can you do the raids or do I do the raids? I don't remember how it works. It's gotta link me the name if I have to do it.
content developers. Now, oral argument in front of the Supreme Court is next week, and I'm putting my money
so
where my mouth
tired.
is.
I had
on
such a fucking anxiety riddled day, dude. Oh my god. It took me an hour and a half to get to work and I was 30 minutes late. And then I hate driving.
this one. I filed a brief in the Supreme Court along with
But saw you for a Sun Circus show. Oh, thank you. Welcome, welcome. Unfortunately, we're ending a little early today because I had a hard day at work. But we'll be here tomorrow. We'll definitely be here tomorrow. I'm only doing a half day tomorrow in the office, so it should be fine. So we'll be streaming again tomorrow between 7 and 8. We're not ending quite yet, but we will, for, you just coming in. We will be
Dr. Mike, Mythical Entertainment, Chubby Emu, Tim Schmoyer, and the Authors Alliance, and a bunch of other creators. We filed an amicus brief explaining the potential dire consequences of a really bad ruling on this, so we'll see how it goes. But in the meantime, I'll probably just be stress eating at the end of the internet, unless I use today's sponsor, Factor.
Nope. stream my work. I work at a video game company, so I can't. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and send you over to our Mod's third favorite streamer, apparently, or our favorite Mod Cheetah's third favorite streamer. Oh my god, I can't talk. Vertigo Freefall, but we'll be here tomorrow. I didn't go over the Bernie thing, so we're gonna go over the Bernie thing, and we're gonna go over these robot cars that are apparently a big staple in LA now. That they're there for like to deliver food, and it's really, really dumb, I guess. So that'll be a lot of fun. But we might start a little bit earlier. But at the latest it'll be between 7 to 8. So thank you everybody for being here. And I hope you guys have a good time and be nice to Vertigo Freefall. I don't know their political positions. They might be a right winger, so don't make it seem like don't be weird. All right, have a good night, guys.